on the play by Blewett. Got his receiver downfield. That is Paul Davis.
If he has good technique, he will be elite. If his technique becomes great, not just good, then he's a Hall of Famer.
Going down again. And it's Q. Ren Williams.
Fighting through contact, fighting through offensive line, being a double team, multiple moves stacked into one, just a play of pure domination. This is actual film, this is actual football talk. It's a football show, we're supposed to talk football, not storylines.
And you are watching or listening to another edition of Blewett's Blitz Live with Kyle Smith. Take two, Kyle. What's up, man?
Not too much. I'm doing better than the Jets, and I'm doing better than my fantasy team in our JetX league. Well, I would have lost anyway, but I got screwed over, but I didn't read the rules, so
I don't even know. I'm kind of in tune with it, but I don't really know. What's up, Mike? What's up, Eagle? What's up, Drew? James, Nick, Verge. What's up? Take two, like I said, because the first time I did the intro, I was like, "What's up?" I was like, "Oh shit, we're not live." So what is up again, people? It feels like it's been a while. I guess obviously because the Jets played a week and a half ago at this point, just it feels like it's been a while. The film review for the Colts game came out a little bit late this week, but I had some things going on, so I had to push that back a little bit. And it just came out last night, so go watch that. I take some shots at people that maybe I shouldn't have taken shots at, but that is up there on YouTube for like 15 minutes or 10 minutes, whatever we put up, and then the full thing is like 2.5 hours or 2 hours and 14 minutes or whatever it is. So make sure you subscribe and go check that out. A lot to get into. Talk about the Colts game, Mike White, Zach Wilson, Joe Douglas, Ulbrich, Michael Floor, Joe Flacco. There's a couple of different things we have to get into. Kyle, what's up? Eric Fox, Nick.
No, I haven't seen that name before.
Eric Fox, yeah, new. James Philly, I think I've seen him before, but not too sure if it's often. Assassin, what's up? JP, what up? Appreciate all you guys. I'm actually JP. Get out the comments, cuz X. I don't know who this is either, but they got some beef apparently. X and JP. A little bit of fireworks to start off.
I think those are two of my students. I think
maybe they'll fight, bro. Who would win? Do you know who would win?
If I say, they're gonna want to actually fight in class or something, so I'm not going to say anything.
Okay, I'm taking JP. I don't like to go for the shit talker, but these matching wardrobes are killer. Or actually not matching wardrobes. I don't know what Kyle. I think Kyle's just wearing a plain black t-shirt. I'm wearing a Blewett Blitz t-shirt.
Yeah, yeah. I never got that Blewett Blitz t-shirt because I'm only a part-time helper around here.
Yeah. Lewis Shadow. Okay, so. Where do we start? I never know where to start, and then we just go from there.
Why don't we talk about the quarterback who's starting this week?
Okay. Yeah, we could start with the quarterback. We'll do the offense. We'll do the coordinator. We'll do the defense. We'll do why the fuck they traded for Joe Flacco. I don't know. I still don't know. We'll talk about a couple different things. But Mike White, let's take it from the game perspective first. And I guess we can always tie it into him starting this week, which again is Zach Wilson 100%. Is he not? Obviously, we're both in the camp. If Zach Wilson's 99.9% healthy, just that 0.1%, you set him against the Bills at home. I'm okay with that. But let's go to the game first. What do you think? I don't know. What was the stat line? I think it was like, and we don't really even give a shit about stats, to be completely honest. But for context, I think he was 7 for 11, 95 yards, one TD.
And a near interception.
A very, 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 very bad near interception.
Yeah, but hey, man, the stats still look good when you just check the box score. Hey, Mike White played good again, man. He's the future.
JP said JP would win, and then X said JP don't do it. So yeah, that throw was bad. And it's so funny too, and this is what I kind of shit on when I was doing the last stream. I was talking about how like all these like Twitter experts out there, and maybe I'm one of those, the air quotes, but I saw a lot of people talking about the Bengals throw last week, and a lot of people just kept mentioning how it was an underthrow, and that's why it was a bad throw last week or 2 weeks ago against the Bengals, and it should have been picked for that reason. I was like, not one person did I see here mention the fact that there was a cover 3 corner that was not occupied that had zone eyes on the throw and would have tipped it or picked it no matter where he threw that ball. So it wasn't because it was underthrow, and that is part of it, but it was a bad throw because of the defense he was throwing against. It just did not work. So that's why it was bad, but nobody mentioned it. I kind of went off on that in the last show. So yeah, that throw, this throw, it
was a great play by the defensive player, but he
kind of, but was it a fake? It was like a fake toss. It was like a slide route, an intermediate route, and then the deep route, right? And then I mentioned it in the show that like that deep route too. The problem with White is the fact, he might be like that. Like again, large leaps are being taken right now, but he might be that Kirk Cousins type player where he doesn't have the arm talent that Zach Wilson does. And I was mentioning on that play specifically, the deep threat and more, he probably couldn't hit more on that play where like Zach Wilson can. So it's really only an intermediate and a short read where Wilson would legitimately be deep, intermediate, short for at least a longer window where White has to hit that deep immediately because he doesn't have the arm strength to really reach it, stretch the field. So, and then that throw too, like he had time to set his feet. He had time to get vertical. And if I just paused, and I said this in the show, if you just paused him throwing the ball, like after he threw it, his body was literally sideways and him falling out of it like this. And I was like, I'm going to bet that's not a good throw because you want to end square. You want to have your shoulders level to your target and your throw when you're rolling out like that. And he was literally like this.
Yeah.
I was like, yep.
And by the way, and if you watch Blewett's film reviews, this is something that Blewett's been pointing out for several weeks now because Mike White has made appearances in 3 consecutive games. He's kind of always leaning on his throws. It's a little
he's
strange.
On his toes and leaning backwards. It's not clean mechanics. It might be cleaner than Wilson in some ways, but what's up, Brian? Snoopy. I also saw Elias. I don't know how to say that, so forgive me. Could be either way. So did you take anything else?
Elias, I think. Elias.
Did you take anything else away from Mike White's game? I think he was okay. The touchdown he threw was obviously that was like a cloud corner right there who just did not pass the number 2 route, the vertical, to the safety that he should have, and just let the one get behind him on the out and up, or I think it's an out and up, and wide open touchdown. But he looked, again, decisive, accurate for the most part, minus a terrible underthrow with him on the move, which is again something that he's going to have severe limitations over a guy like Zach Wilson, who does not have that limitation. Now, obviously, Zach Wilson needs to hit the easy throws like Mike White can, and that's kind of there's like a interesting relationship between these two guys. Like one guy is a gunslinger who's going to take a 50-yard shot who can't hit the underneath stuff, and Mike White's literally the polar opposite. Like if you can combine them both, it would be like the perfect quarterback. But unfortunately, we can't do that. It's only 2021. Maybe in 2050 we could do some of that. But anything else?
Well, if we could do that in 2050, it would really take the fun out of the game. Well, in terms of Mike White, I mean, just to add one little thing, I know he's only 26, and obviously there is room for growth. A lot of quarterbacks have their best years in their 30s, and nowadays even late into their 30s. Look at the way Stafford's playing right now, and I know he's not in his late 30s, but and I know he's finally with a good offense. But anyway, Mike White doesn't have that much room for improvement. Can he get better? Yeah. But I don't think you're going to see him getting much better than what you've already seen. And here's another thing you have to consider too. Now teams are starting to get some tape on Mike White and figure out what he likes to do. So teams are going to start game planning for that. And
play it short.
Yeah,
which is
exactly.
which is sometimes easier said than done. To be completely transparent, that is easier said than done, because the Patriots did that for years, like just playing it short. There was that guy, I don't know who he was on YouTube. I'm sure somebody knows in here. But he would break down like Tom Brady throws, and it was obviously a gag. And he'd be like, holy fucking shit. Look at him hit it. Look at him hit that guy 5 yards down the field in a wide open window. He'd be like, holy shit. Look at Tom Brady, throwing that screen pass. I'm so wet. Like you just do it for like 10 minutes of every game, like how easy some of his throws were. Obviously there's a mental processing of, and looking off the defense. There's a lot of shit that goes into that, but you can live on the short game, but obviously you're much more to make that leap that Mike White's going to be Tom Brady. Let's not do that. I know some fans are out there already to make that leap, but Yeah, you're severely limited with him. And that's what you saw with the Niners with Jimmy Garoppolo. They were severely limited with Jimmy Garoppolo. And then you heard when they were coming, the coaching staff coming here, a lot of 49ers fans, a lot of Shanahan tree disciples were saying, well, this is great for this offense because now off that play action, you could legitimately take those, 60-yard shots to post that you couldn't do with Jimmy G. And now you take that out of the playbook because Mike White can't hit those throws. But obviously, he's been more effective than Zach Wilson when he's been in the game. But again, let's be fair to both players. If he threw a pick on that underthrow, if that was picked off, people are viewing how he played that game completely different because that was a terrible throw that literally hit a defender in the face mask. So we have to be realistic with Mike White, but at the same time, right now, going to this next game, Zach Wilson's we think he's injured. And I think there are fans who are on the side of, okay, no matter what Mike White's starting, even if Zach Wilson's healthy, and there's fans who are saying, let it ride out with Mike White until he goes cold. And then there's fans who are kind of in the middle, like, okay, this game, I get it, home game against the Bills, number 1 defense, but next week against the Dolphins and the Texans after that, that's when you start Zach Wilson. So I guess we can get to this now. So
let's play conspiracy theory for a moment. Let's put our tinfoil hats on. So do you think that any part of the Jets coaching staff is, let's say they talk with the trainers and Zach literally he's basically 100%, he's good to go.
Yeah.
But the coaching staff is just using the injury to say, you know what, let's ride another week with White, see how he plays. This would be a good reason for Zach to sit, but we could still kind of shield our decision in the injury with the injury rather than just saying, oh, well, Mike White kind of earned the job over Zach. Do you think that there's any possibility of that?
I don't know, to be honest. I don't know what their thought process is. I know for me, and we were saying it the teams don't really think like this, but I would like to see him, even if Zach Wilson was healthy this week, I'm okay with letting it ride with Mike White for this week and then letting him have a home game against the Dolphins as his first game back. Because again, I'm a little bit worried about the mental part of it, because no matter what you want to say about Zach, and yes, he should be able to beat out Mike White and he should be mentally strong enough. But listen, you're a 21-year-old kid coming from BYU to New York, and you're getting booed in this game. Hypothetically, he plays bad, and then people start chanting Mike fucking White. It might be bad for your psyche. So I'm cool with it being against the Dolphins for him coming back. But we did mention I don't think teams think like that. So I'm assuming that he's not healthy, because I know there's a lot of people again who want Mike White to play, but you have a really high investment in Zach Wilson with a much, much higher ceiling. So I don't think the Jets are looking at Mike White as their savior. But at what point do you kind of tend to lean that way? Like if he comes out versus the Bills, let's not even say a win, but if it's a let's just give the Jets a really good game. It's a 33-30 game. Mike White throws for 300 yards, three touchdowns, and a pick that's tipped, or just an overall really good game. Let's give him a B+, A- this game, and we're impressed. Now what do you do going against the Dolphins?
Well, if Mike White plays like that against the Bills, you got to play him again.
So what's your floor? What's the floor of how White?
Well, listen, here's the thing. I mean,
then how long do you ride that out?
He's Mike White. He's a 5th-round pick who clearly has some mechanical flaws and clearly doesn't always make the best decisions. At some point in the season, NFL is a long season. Every team is good. You can lose on any given week. Just look at the Bills losing to the Jags. At some point, he's going to play bad. And at some point, oh yeah, Zach Wilson, we did take him 2nd overall. Let's put Zach back in. So at some point, he's going to fail. And I want to ask you, is there any part of you, and I'm certainly going to be rooting for the win, but is there any part of you that hopes that Mike White plays bad this week so that we can kind of just say, what?
Because I feel like for me, and I'll get to the chat in a second. I've seen some comments in here again. Some of them I won't get to. I never promote super chats, I am right now, but you could always throw that in there. We appreciate it. 1 and 2. I'll definitely get to your question. No, I won't, because me as a Jets fan, I feel like no matter it be the craziest losses we have or the craziest wins we have, we're going to be in the most crazy process ever to be successful with the quarterback. We got the GM because Adam Gase ran Mike McCagnon out. They hired him. He got fired 2 or 3 months later after the draft. And then a year later, he gets fired by the GM that he, brought in basically. And then they draft a number 2 overall pick, and their quarterback of the future is going to be a 5th round pick from 2018 who got cut and whatever by the Jets like 10 to 12 times. So it's possible that he is the answer. Am I completely writing it off? No. So I'm not going to root against the guy. 1, I want the Jets to win. 2, he seems like a pretty good dude. The team loves him. So if he's going to win us games, let's say like even if he is, that Kirk Cousins level, because let's be honest about his physical upside, it is not there. That's what I'm saying. Kirk Cousins, Jimmy Garoppolo, mid-level quarterback. So that I think that's the best he could possibly be. But at the same point, or at the same time, with that being said, when's the last time the Jets have had a quarterback as good as Kirk Cousins?
No,
Chad Pennington obviously was
sure.
I would say is better than him, but it's been 10 or 15 years ish now. But now you're weighing, okay, the ceiling of Kirk Cousins versus the ceiling of a top 5 quarterback. Legitimately, Zach Wilson has a ton of talent. So at what point do you sit Mike White, even though he's playing well for Zach Wilson? Or if Mike White continues to ride out good games, like this game, he plays well, then he has the Dolphins and the Texans and he plays well those games. Are you going to bench him now for Wilson, or do we go into a situation where Mike White plays well for the rest of the year, and now you're sitting in the offseason with your thumb up your ass? You need to re-sign White, who, let's be honest, if he starts the next 8 games, whatever it is, 8, 9 games, and he plays well, how much money is he going to get? You saw Matt Flynn get plenty of money playing a couple of good games. So now you have to pay White, or do you now get rid of him and you're starting Wilson, who didn't play the second half of his rookie year? Like what do they do if Mike White does work out?
Well, here's the thing. If Mike White goes and balls out, thing is like, you don't want to hurt your relationship with Zach and all that kind of stuff. It's a very sensitive issue. And one thing I love about Zach is the way he handles his press conferences and stuff. He always seems very poised and things like that. But I didn't watch the whole thing. I just watched a couple seconds of his most recent one, and they were kind of asking him about Mike White. And
when they lose, I don't watch any press conference. I don't watch anything. Nothing.
Well, I actually liked how Zach handled his ones after the losses. I usually only listen after the games, at least to the whole things.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, you could just tell that Zach was a little uncomfortable, more so than usual, handling these press conferences. He's in an awkward spot right now. But here's the thing. If Mike White is truly balling out week after week, Zach will have to realize, like, okay, I don't deserve to be starting right now at this point.
Yeah, at that point, you have to prove it. But
it's different than like the Andy Dalton, Justin Fields situation, because Andy Dalton's playing like shit.
Yeah. Okay. But I'm saying, but at what point, okay, he plays average to above average. Like he's playing again at a good level. Now it's January 3rd or whatever, and the final whistle just blew against the Buccaneers, and the Jets just most likely got blown out unless they're sitting their players. What do you do in the offseason then? Do you just let Mike White walk, or are you going to sign like how much does he get? $20 million.
I would probably pay him, and I would franchise tag him and try to trade him.
Franchise, yeah, but okay. Yeah, but now you're going to a situation where you're trading a quarterback who just played, let's say, an average level quarterback for the rest of the year. Now you're trading him for an unknown, because Zach Wilson at this point is obviously an unknown. Like his first couple of weeks.
When you draft someone second overall and you have all that money invested in Zach, and he's young, and you see all the talent there, you have to trust in your process. You just have to. That's obviously not what the Dolphins have done.
And then our luck, Zach Wilson's a bust, and Mike White and Tom Brady.
If Mike White turns into Tom Brady, man, that would be the Jets' luck,
even if he turns into Kirk Cousins, like even if he's an average quarterback.
Joe, if he turned into Kirk Cousins, you would not be sad. You wouldn't be. Look at how you talk about Kirk Cousins every week. I watch your film reviews every week, man. You're like,
I don't shit on Kirk Cousins often.
You shit on Ryan Tannehill often.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Get into the chat before we get to the other quarterback stuff. It's always an interesting conversation. I'm sure it's going to come up later in the stream as well. Somebody's going to bring it up. Elias, I think that's it. Okay, he said second one was correct. I think I said Elias the second time. Flash Aussie Gordon from Panama. Short-term listener, first-time chat poster, big fan of your content, first class. I appreciate that, Flash. You're the man. X says Bills 100, Jets 0. Listen, I pretty much I agree, but with that being said, the Jets are a much different team at home. They beat teams who have better records than the Bills, and the Bills just lost 9-6 to the Jaguars. So maybe not. Again, there's a formula out there against Josh Allen, and it's play too high and make him nickel and dime you because he's not that type of player. So we'll see. We have a Jets 30, Bills 27, Jalen
And the
Hurts
Jets
released.
and when I know it's a different defensive coordinator and stuff last year, but when the Jets played Josh Allen at home last year, the Bills didn't even score a touchdown. It was all field goals.
Yeah. Verge says Mike White has poor control of his ball's velocity, either throwing short bullets or long ducks. Still has been great. Just saying. Yeah. He has to learn how to take some heat off the ball within like 5 yards, and he doesn't have an arm to fit it into tight windows like consistently. His arm is not strong at all. White is a statue in the pocket. Yeah, he's definitely not a fluid athlete. He's not. Some of the plays, like you put him behind the Jets line week 1, all those plays that Zach Wilson was dodging Panthers defenders, Mike White gets absolutely creamed. Like, it's really bad. Salmon, Mike White was the best QB drafted from the 2018 draft. Who are the
Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold, Baker. No, we have Lamar. You have Lamar. You have Josh Allen. You got Josh Rosen. There's some good quarterbacks there. Let's see. I don't think White lights up the Bills. Okay, so yeah, Kyle, I asked you before, and I'm gonna keep going through the chat. What's like your minimum stat line? And obviously the process is much more important than the results. But
do you want to talk about, instead of stat line, do you want to just talk about like what we'd like to see? Sure.
And then how like we gave like Zach Wilson, I think his best game we gave him this year, that I personally gave him this year, was a Titans game. And I gave him like a B+. So Mike White has a B-, B+ game versus the Bills this week, who are, I think, the number 1 scoring defense in the league, or pretty high up there. If he plays like that, do you give him the next week, or like what's kind of like your minimum threshold for how well he has to play?
Okay, so looking specifically against the Bills, one thing the Bills are really good at, and they've been good at for years under why am I forgetting?
What are you saying? Sorry,
why am I forgetting the Bills coach name?
McDermott.
Yeah, McDermott. I was almost at McVay, and I was like, I know it's not McVay.
Dude, by the way, getting Odell, which I think Odell's a little bit overrated at this point.
Wait, Odell's going to the Rams?
Rams, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know he decided, because I was just looking at the news a couple hours ago and he said, I want to take my time to make a decision.
I have him in a fantasy league, I'm hoping, but like with Robert Woods, with Higbee, with Cup, I don't know how many targets he's going to get, but the Rams fuck me so bad. Dude, the Titans twice this year, massive parlays. Last leg of it, Bills versus Titans, Bills lost. Rams versus Titans, like, oh, no Derrick Henry. Rams just got Von Miller. They're going to be rejuvenated at home. Nope.
Bond didn't play.
Fuck. Like, come on, man. Like hundreds of dollars for the Titans have fucked me on. But continue.
Damn.
It is what it is.
Yeah. So under McDermott, those safeties are really good. Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer, and they do a lot of post-snap rotations, and they're really good at finding their ways and confusing opposing quarterbacks. Tre'Davious White's a great corner. I mean, the Bills just got a solid defense all around. Those linebackers are really good. So
the defensive line rotation's really, really deep too. They're no top tier talent, but they're 8 or 9 deep on that.
And they didn't have Star Lotulelei last year. He opted out for COVID, like CJ Mosley did.
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason why you saw Ed Oliver playing a lot of nose last year, which I know he did that in college, but Ed Oliver's not.
Rousseau is playing well. They have Hughes, they have Epinesa, they have Mario Addison, they have Starr, they have Vernon Butler.
Yeah, so they're
Harrison
deep.
Phillips, like they have a good defensive line, deep.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and do they have like did you mention Jerry Hughes? Man, Jerry Hughes is still.
Oh yeah,
over
yeah.
there.
I mentioned Jerry Hughes, yeah.
Dude, you want to talk about a guy who's been underrated over recent years, man? Like he's definitely up there in terms of consistently, being productive. So anyway, with Mike White, so what we're thinking about him right now is, okay, he's seeing the game better than Zach. Right now, Zach might have the bigger arm, gets the ball downfield more. He's got the escapability, the movability. He's certainly whenever you do play action rollouts and things like that, you see a lot more of that with Zach. They were trying to do that a lot more with Zach. So if Mike White is truly good and better at Zach than reading defense, I want to see if Mike White is really good post snap in this game. That would be an encouraging sign. to move on with him starting in the following weeks.
Talking about
And
White
if
or
he- and
Zach?
I'm talking about Mike White. So Mike White's starting this game, right? And I think,
Yeah.
didn't you ask me what would I want to see?
Yeah, the minimum threshold. Yeah. Which, by the way, I just thought about it. You know how they're doing a lot more fake tosses instead of like actually carrying out like stretch play action. I wonder if that's because he's not as athletic as Wilson, and it would take longer for him to boot and get around.
I didn't even think of
with
that.
White,
But yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
I literally just thought about that. I was thinking, literally my eyes were going. I was like, that's probably why they're doing more fake tosses instead of actually playing. Okay, sorry,
Dude,
that's just a side note.
Makes a ton of sense. I didn't think of that
Yeah,
on my
right?
own, but yeah. So just think about that.
One for the
People
good
in the
guys.
chat. Think about that, people in the chat. Like when you're running an outside zone play fake, like and think about how deep the running back is in the backfield. And like for you to meet him and you're all the way stretching your arm out, like it takes a longer time to develop. And then you have to, tuck your arm back in and then move all the way. Versus if you're just doing a toss, it's just a little quick toss motion and then you boot out versus fully selling it and holding it a little bit longer. White obviously can't get off the fake as quick as Zach. So it makes sense that Joe's bringing that up. But anyway, what I was saying, Joe, is that I'm not convinced yet at this point that Mike White is actually really good post snap. Like, dude, I mean, just look at that Bengals game, man. Like they just give up so much stuff underneath. And it's like, it was so easy.
I like his process was really quick. His process was quick to get it down.
It was quick, but it also was like, okay, yeah, that no brainer. Okay. Like a little rub route right here. So, if he handles this, the post snap rotation's good from the Bills and he avoids a bad interception or a bad near interception, and the team actually is scoring. And I'm not just talking about field goals too. They're actually punching it in the end zone, regardless of whether or not he's throwing the touchdown. I think that would be enough for me to at least start him the following week. The Jets don't need to win the game.
No, if they're competitive this game, like that's what we want in the losses is competitive. Obviously, the Dolphins, the Texans, even the Eagles, maybe the Saints, depending on who their quarterback is, whatever. Like those are games you want to win. But the Bills, the Bucks, those games, okay, I'm cool with competitive losses, which we really haven't experienced this year. We have one competitive loss, which is the Falcons, and even in that game, they were getting blown out, 23 at halftime, and came back. So I didn't feel that was great about that. And I guess the Panthers, they competed in the second half again. Salmon Jets, I'll move back up into the chat, then move back down. And he prefaces it kind of for us. But first 4 picks in the draft, defense, I know it's still early. So, Sal, I've seen you in here before, but not a ton. So I'll always say, like, I don't like to give you definites. And the example I always give, this time last year, Sean Wade was a top 10 corner or a top, at least a first round corner. He went in the 5th round. So I don't like to give you specific names. So I don't know who's going to be there. I don't know what to do in free agency. I don't know where they're picking at. So who falls? Okay, the draft might be top heavy in corners, but if the Jets are 12th pick, and then those 4 or 5 corners go early, which 4 or 5 is high. Let's just say 2 or 3 go early. And now we're sitting there like, yeah, ideally you get a corner, but now there's a run on corner. So who do they get? So it's a really hard question to answer this far out, not knowing where they're going to be again, what to do in free agency. Because I can tell you, okay, I want them to draft Kenyon Green, the guard out of wherever he's from, right now at pick 8. But now let's say that the Jets signed Brandon Sheriff in free agency. I might change my tune a little bit on that. So with that being said, I'll give you my top 5 needs. I'll up you one. 4 picks in this draft. So let's just say it's going by needs. For me right now, right guard. Number 1. Number 2, this comes versus there's kind of a weighing here of helping Zach out versus the actual bigger need, because right now I want tight end as the second biggest need, but really to me it's safety. Massive hole at safety, obviously. Marcus May, is he going to be back? Ashton Davis has looked like garbage, and Kyle, this is something you can attest for me. While I've defended Ashton Davis in the last couple of weeks, saying specifically saying he was raw in college, he's going to take a long time to develop. I said that from the day he was drafted. With that being said, if you go back, the good thing is a lot of my shit's recorded. If you watch that review, that is the hardest Marcus and I, when I did the shows with Marcus, shit on anybody. We watched that film and we're laughing about how bad he was in college. So we did not like that pick at all. So I would say safety. I would say right guard, tight end, safety, linebacker. To me, they need a linebacker, 100%.
Yeah.
And then I would say 5th is we could go between. I would say corner. I think they have the defensive line, the edge, Like now, ideally, okay, is Thibodeau there? Yes, if Thibodeau is there at 5 or 6 or 4 or 3, wherever just pick, sure. But I'm not reaching
he's
for an
going
edge.
one, I think.
He's going 1 or 2. Okay, so you're probably not getting Thibodeau. So I don't think edge is as big of a need as corner. Where if you get a legit number, like whoever it is at corner, I don't know. I don't know all the names off the top of my head. But so would you agree with that? Or you change it anyway? Right guard, tight end, safety, linebacker, corner.
Yeah, I think that's about right. I don't think I'd flip.
And I could argue
order.
I think just on position alone, without looking at, okay, tight end helps Zach Wilson in his second year, I would say that safety is a bigger need. Safety is probably a bigger need if you just look at them just individually by position, probably the biggest need. But based on the fact that right guard and tight end obviously help out Zach Wilson a lot, they're above safety to me because you can take another year.
And something that we pointed out in last week's live stream is that the Jets, even though they don't have the current personnel for it, they're still running a lot of 12. And I think that's just what LaFleur wants to do. He wants to run.
Yeah, they're doing it. And I say it in the chat, like I don't, or not in the chat. I say it in the reviews. I don't chart, but I notice a lot more. They're at least running more empty and more 11 than they have been in the past. At least more of their successful plays I'm noticing. They're running more empty, which is something I wanted to see again when Zach Wilson was here. Because guess what? Even though Mims, who I put in my dud, he's one of my duds the last game because listen, you have a big spot and he blew up a block. He had a couple of drops. He didn't have a good game. But I'd rather have Mims or Cole or Cole. One of the 3 or 4 receivers we have instead of Ryan Griffin or Daniel Brown or Kenny Gaboa if they call him up. So I like that they've been doing that more.
And yeah, even Zach, let's take the second half of the Panthers game, for example. A lot of it early on was 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, some 21 stuff too. But like pretty much the entire second half was mostly 11. And when they actually started to score and move the ball, it was all 11 personnel pretty much.
Yeah. Nicholas Roca said, honestly, without the something about White is a solid backup that you're fine with in a 4-game stretch, but I don't think it's a legitimate starting option. We're a long way from knowing either one. I would say based on his physical upside or his physical makeup, he's most likely a backup,
I agree.
High tier backup who had a really good game. But if you're putting in a vacuum and saying him versus Zach Wilson right now, we're all taking Zach Wilson. Let's be honest. Zach Wilson, he's struggling as a rookie quarterback. Like, holy shit, he's struggling as a rookie quarterback. Like you'd never guess that,
And dude, I think some of it too is just like
his accuracy looked better in the game where he was back for
talk about the Pats game.
Was it the Pats game?
Yeah, that's what
Zach came in. Yes. His accuracy was better. And now that his quarterback coach is with him, hopefully that continues.
Yeah. Now, yeah, Zach other than the near interception to McCourty on a ball that was just it was a terrible throw, and even more important, it was a terrible decision where McCourty almost picked it off. He was bailed. He was bailed out by McCourty dropping it, and B, he was bailed out by the pass interference, which really didn't affect the play that much at all. I guess maybe a little bit. But yeah, that was the only really bad play from Zach. But if you're talking about like in rhythm throws, kind of the short stuff, 3-step drop, hit the out route, like, yeah, Zach was a lot cleaner in that game.
Which again, it wasn't a problem he had in college. In college, he was super clean on rhythm throws, on 5-yard, 10-yard out routes, whatever it may be. So
yeah, and I just pretty much attribute that to comfort level. Like, at that point, I think Zach was pretty comfortable with what BYU was trying to do. Yeah. And right now he's a rookie quarterback, swimming, started from day one.
He's overthinking the little things. Eagle mentioned it, is mentioning Panthers and Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold got injured. He's been playing absolutely terribly. The one game he got benched for PJ Walker, and the Jets got a 2nd, a 4th, and a 6th. Like, awesome trade. You weren't there after the Panthers game by the porta potties, but I think I told you.
Yeah, you told me.
Story.
You did tell me about it.
I told you about that, so I'm happy for all those Panthers fans who want us to try to start fights by the porta potties.
I was talking shit. Even though we lost, I was kind of biting my lip. I had to hear that stupid keep pounding. Yeah. Those motherfuckers weren't saying that chant all game, and then at the end
they were so quiet,
dumbass
so
chant.
Quiet. I remember the kid was talking shit at the porta potty line, and then he stopped. And I called it to Tom and Vinny. I was like, as soon as he walks away, like 20 yards away, because he's with his girlfriend, he's going to try to get the last word, to be the tough guy, to be like, to later with his girlfriend, they're like, yeah, I talk shit to that guy. I didn't say anything back. Walks away like 20 yards, talk shit. I'm like, I knew it was gonna happen, you fucking pussy. And he like ran back. I was like, go ahead, do it. There's a lot of alcohol involved in that, but my God, those Panthers fans. So I'm so happy that they're losing and Sam Darnold sucks and they just wasted a second and a fourth and a sixth. And now Cam Newton's back for almost maybe $10 million, whatever this year. So have fun with Cam fucking Newton. So I hate every fan base. Like, listen, I hate everybody. And it's just what it is. Like, I don't like Browns fans. I don't like Vikings fans. I don't like Panthers fans. I don't like Dolphins fans. I don't like Bills fans. I don't like Giants fans. I don't like any other team. They can all rot because, and I have specific reasons for all of them. The Vikings were really cocky. The Browns fans are super cocky after like a 6-win season after they've been terrible for years. Fuck the Bills. Fuck the Dolphins. But the problem is when you go to games and you're boozed up, you have those specific fans who come and they talk shit. And you'll always remember that one guy, that those two guys, those three guys, and that represents the entire fan base. So now the Panthers, I think that guy about the porta potty line. So I want them to lose forever. Like, so I hate everybody. Everybody should lose with the Jets. That's just how I am. I don't root for any other team. But I'm sorry, I don't know why.
So Joe, just a couple little anecdotes, a couple interactions with several assholes that he's met. Now he hates the entire fan base.
I hate the entire NFL.
I get it. Yeah, but one thing I was gonna say is like, I think part of the Mike White hype is just like, the New York media and how all that gets blown up, but B, also the fact that the Jets have been so deprived at quarterback for so long. I mean, like, we haven't had a 400-yard passer since Vinny Testaverde in what year was that? 2000 or whatever.
2000.
I mean, they're probably, I would assume that every other team has had at least one 400-yard passing game in that stretch other than us. I mean, we barely had games where we had 300-yard passers. I think Mark Sanchez probably only had maybe a full handful of 300-yard games.
I specifically
Sam
remember,
had probably like only 4 or 5 300-yard games.
I think Fitz got close to having one, and I think that was on Thursday Night Football in Buffalo to start the season, and we beat them. And that was it's like one of the first games that Fitzpatrick was on the Jets, or maybe that was a second, whenever it was. But I remember specifically Rock Pile Report, those guys telling me that's never going to happen again. And I was like, these guys are bullshit. And then like we see that we saw what happened with Fitz. So yeah, we barely experienced 300-yard games. So 400 yards is really impressive. But we're going to work through the chat and then we're going to get to the rest of the stuff because I'm very, very behind. So if I skip anything, again, I apologize, but it is what it is. I got to run through it. Our other rookies like Moore and Carter. And eventually I'll get to the point where I can pull up your comments on the screen. I just don't know how to do that. I am technically like, with technical stuff, I'm an idiot. I have no idea.
It's
I'm
amazing
really, really
that
bad.
Joe can even do this and clip plays.
Yeah, I'm bad. I'm bad with technology. So eventually I'll figure out how to get all that shit on the screen. It'll happen. Snoopy, y'all have to look at the Gridiron Heights episode about the rookie QB orientation. Zach crashed a car and said, I'm still learning and hope they're this patient in New York. Yeah, it's going to get to you. People can say it's not going to get to rookie quarterbacks, to players, but when you hear booze, it's going to get to you. I don't think we can let Mike White walk though. Yeah, neither do I. Keep moving through. I agree. Eagle Fang. Sorry.
That's why you just put I don't know if he would be a restricted free agent or whatever, but you put some type of tag or tender on him, and that way you get some value.
Well, I think he's a restricted free agent, so you can restrict free agent tag him.
Yeah.
And so,
listen, you'd be willing to let him walk, but get something in return for him.
Yeah. What's up, Green Bean? Another one of the Jets content creators, one of the bigger ones out there. He's in here again, so I appreciate that, Green Bean. Down to the super chat. Sorry, I'm trying to work through it. I don't want to skip over all your stuff, so I kind of take these 2 minutes of like me just completely killing the show to try to get to the chat and see if anything really stands out. Oh shit, whatever happened to Sean Wade? Yeah, he got drafted in the 5th round because isn't he on the Pats now? Didn't he? Yeah, he got cut and now he's on the Pats.
No, I think he was drafted by Baltimore and he was traded
to the Pats.
I'm pretty sure the Pats and Baltimore made a trade. I don't know which one drafted him and which one acquired him via trade, but I'm pretty sure it was those two teams.
James and Philly, will Ashton Davis implode or shock the world this week? He will implode. We'll talk about him in a little bit, but he's just not.
Why was he like the highest Jet in terms of PFF grade? I don't get it.
Dude. If there is one thing we talk about on the show, it's the process. It's over the results. It's go away from the fucking stupid stat shit. It's go away from PFF. It's go away from ESPN stats and info. He played bad. And I said it in my show. I don't give – excuse me, French. I don't give a fuck what Ledger Doozable says. I don't care. I don't care they play in the NFL because he was on Twitter defending Ashton Davis and saying, oh, you guys don't know about football. I don't know who he said it to. Ashton Davis played like shit. Absolute shit. That angle on the touchdown to Jonathan Taylor was absolute shit.
Yes.
And
yes, it was.
There was 2 plays where he was the cover 1 safety, and he played it like dog shit. And you'll see, I don't know if you saw it already, Kyle. You'll see
No,
it
I
in
didn't
the review.
see it.
I pointed it out because what did he do at Cal? I said it 1,000 times in his tape at Cal. He drops back. He reads the quarterback. He has no awareness of route concepts. He does not leverage himself over route concepts, and he just stares, breaks as the quarterback throws. That's all he does. And it's not what you can
And by the way, and for the people in the chat that maybe not know, like obviously every safety is going to look at the quarterback's eyes to a certain extent because, you know, there are some players like Mahomes and stuff who try to do the no-look passes and stuff, but you're a quarterback. You got to look where you're throwing almost all the time. But as a defender, you also have to, it's film study, preparing for what teams do, what they usually do out of this personnel set on this down and distance. And you're based on where they're lined up, you're judging their set and you're going to anticipate what the route combination is going to be. So then when the game comes, you've already seen what they're going to do. And then you're reading that route concept at post snap, but then you're also looking at the quarterback side. You can't be staring at the quarterback for prolonged periods of time, because then you're not going to see what else is happening.
A lot of those like read steps, like those initial 2-3 steps in your back pedal, are to read the drop. If it's a 7-step drop, it's going to be a deeper concept. If it's a 5-step, it might be intermediate. If it's a short, it might be a short, obviously. So you want to read the drop. You want to read his progressions. Okay, his eyes are pointed right. Maybe I should look to my right first, or his left. I should look to, well, it'd be left to right, right to left. Nonetheless, you have to read the quarterback while also reading route concepts, because if you don't know where the fucking routes are going, you're going to be completely lost. And Ashton Davis those times, he was absolutely lost on the one play. Eccles got beat. It was a corner to the left side, completely lost, and that play wasn't even close. And then he got beat. And he got beat again deep. So his eyes are terrible. His angles are terrible. So tell me where he played well. Why? Because you type again. Sorry, there's beers flowing. I'm gonna curse this time. You type in fucking Google Jets Colts box score. 10 tackles, good game. You know, whatever it was, 10-9, 10, 11, whatever tackles he had. But you cannot box score scout. So does Ledger Doozable know more than I do about football? 100%, 1,000 more than I do. But for him to say that Ashton Davis had a good game is bullshit, because he must have box score scouted or been watching it with a couple of beers in him too.
He probably knows more than you when it comes to defensive line play. But honestly, other than that, I don't think so, to be honest.
Okay, well, I don't know. Nonetheless, he saw a couple of tackles maybe when he was watching on broadcast, but to say he had a good game, you were not watching him on all 22 and watching his eyes and watching how he played deep, because it was terrible. He had a terrible game again. And this was
when he's one high and he's coming up in run support, there's a little shades of what the hell is his name? The guy that we got from the Raiders, the safety,
Marcus
Joyner. Yeah, Joyner bad. One high when he's coming up and run support takes bad angles too.
Oh, terrible angles.
So there's a little bit of Ashton Davis looking like that.
Yeah, that was one that we were a little bit more. A lot of people like that signing, and we were like, nah, I don't know about LaMarcus Joyner. People talk about him like he's always going to be a solid safety. We're like, there's a reason he got signed for like $1.5 million. But yeah, just watch that review. He's Ashton. I'll put up this play. I'm not going to explain it. The only thing I want you to watch on this is him and his eyes and how lost he is in terms of getting over top of routes as a deep safety.
Oh,
quarterback.
Jesus
Completely lost.
Yeah.
You know, and then there's another play, and I said just bad deep. His eyes were on the quarterback until this point. He never looked back at the route. And now he saw him going to throw the route, and that's why he did the speed turn and got to the route. Why? Because he made a tackle there? Did he have a good game now because he made that tackle, or was he completely terrible deep on that play? Where's the other play I have of him deep? It was terrible again. There's another one in here somewhere. Just give me 2 seconds. You also have just give me 2 seconds. Kyle, fill the airtime, and I'll try to find this one too.
Sure. So Green Bean says, that's why I like Blewett. I literally root against every single team unless it benefits the Jets. I don't have a second favorite team. I don't even get that. No, yeah, I'm kind of with you, Green Bean. There are a lot of teams that I hate. I do kind of have an affinity for the Chiefs just because I saw my dad suffer for so long, and I never had any reason to hate the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And you know what? Like,
Here it is
so
now.
we went to meet Joe Montana and Len Dawson once when we were young kids.
Yeah.
And we met Len Dawson, signed, got his autograph and stuff, and then we walked away. And then he called. He's like, "Hey, are those your young kids with you?" He's like, "You want to take a picture with me?" And then like he literally called us back over to come take a picture with us. So he was really cool. So I always kind of like the Chiefs for that reason.
Yeah, this same play again. Not even going to break it down. Just watch Ashton Davis. Watch his eyes in the actual film reviews. I'll get a lot more into it, but watch this play again. Quarterback. Oh shit, he threw the ball. Look at him. He's not even close to the routes. He's not even close. But this doesn't get put up. He's not even close. Now, if you're gonna argue, he's going to this, no bullshit.
And the sad thing is, it's like this is a second.
This ball
year
got
player.
dropped, so he doesn't care.
This is a second year player, and I know he hasn't played a lot.
Terrible.
But like, where's the growth? Like,
you cannot stare at the quarterback. You can't do it the whole time.
Even if you haven't been playing a lot, you're still in the film rooms, in the meetings, learning the defense and stuff, and you should have some type of understanding of, okay, well, this team likes to do this in this personnel group setting and things like this. And that helps you play a little bit quicker when you're on the field. But he's fast. Yeah, he does have range, but he doesn't always play fast because
I love the quote of with bad eyes, or like a bad mental, being fast just takes you to the wrong spot quicker. I love that because it's so goddamn true. If again, in a vacuum, if you're telling me athleticism or the mental, which one does he have? That's the only thing you could say. It's the only trait you could reveal. The mental is the entire part. Is the entire part of it. You can go to local parks. You can go to Rutgers Park. You can go to a lot of parks and see guys who are freak athletes and they suck at sports because they don't have the technical stuff down. They don't have the mental stuff down. Vernon Golston looks like a fucking refrigerator with arms. He sucked, like
dude.
He sucked.
I shouldn't say
don't say that. Eagle Fang said Robbie legit hates Sam Darnold. Yeah, he was talking shit to him on the sideline. And literally, it's funny. They trade for Sam Darnold, and just a couple months ago, didn't like Robbie like tweet something about like Sam Darnold missing him deep or something like that or whatever it was. Hate Eagles fans.
I think Robbie Anderson tweeted like a video thread
of him getting missed.
Yeah.
And then I tweeted a video back when I was still defending
of
Darnold
like
of
Robbie
him dropping balls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, you get into these things with players. Joe Blewett, for those not aware, he got into it with Darren Lee today. And Joe, I was kind of cracking up inside. I was getting my hair cut, and Darren Lee tweeted out. At the time I looked at it, was like from an hour something ago. And he's like, "Yeah, well, have the Jets won 14 games since I left? I won more than that." And a bunch of people, he's getting ratioed the fuck. Like, oh, this is a fucking practice squad player talking shit. Joe Blewett quote tweets him with like a play of Darren Lee getting his ass kicked, nothing out of the usual.
He got blown up out of the hole.
And the thing is, Joe, your tweet got a lot more likes, even though obviously your tweet came after, and he's got a bigger following because he's a professional athlete, national champion, all that kind of shit.
Yeah. He's a joke too. Why the media ain't talking about Sam, but was calling Jets dump for trading him? James in Philly says, hate Eagles fans. James in Philly. I have no idea why I hate Eagles fans, but not even like a story, but like a quick thing about that is I actually growing up, like I like the Jets, but I didn't really have any other understanding of other teams. Brian Dawkins is my favorite player of all time. More favorite than Curtis Martin, anything. Brian Dawkins, number one player all time. Love him. But then I start to learn about Philadelphia fans, like Mets game. I forgot who got injured, but they were booing him. I remember Ben Roethlisberger, I think, was playing in Philly, and he got carted off, and they were throwing beer at him.
Devils.
That they cheer injuries and they throw shit at people when they're getting carted off. Like I hate Philly fans too. They're a bunch of scumbags. Sorry if you're good out there. Again, I'm lumping you into that group, but let's be honest about that group of fans. And the Jets fans are like that sometimes too on the upper deck. Fighting their own fans and doing all this shit. Like I get it. But Eagles fans are the peak of being asshole fans. It just is what it is. Let's see. Poor Jets fans, they joined the dark side. Shout out. I don't know what you're talking about there. It was quite a few minutes ago. I'm almost my poor virgin ears. Well, I'm saying we're cursing. Ashton Davis is terrible. He is terrible. He's bad. Marcus May is out. And we'll talk about, I guess we're going to hit this real quick. Actually, no, fuck it. We'll wait till later. PFF said that Ash Davis is their best player versus the Colts. Again, that is all the evidence you need. Stop with the PFF bullshit, because 90% of fans Google PFF, the player's name, and he's a good scorer. He's a good player. They don't know what they're talking about. They don't.
And PFF is definitely much worse when it comes to certain position groups. They've always been really bad with safeties, and they used to rate DeJuan Landry on the Jets really
like a top
high
3
every year.
safety.
Like, what are you guys looking at, man?
Yeah.
And just look at CJ Mosley's ranking this year. Like, has Mosley been phenomenal week in, week out? No, he's been pretty good week in, week out. And his grade's like a 40 or something like that. Like what?
Big Green says, any players you see in the practice squad being called up, not off the top of my head, to be completely honest. Maybe Yeboah gets called up soon because he's we don't have Daniel Brown anymore. That's about the only person I can think of. Shadow said, want to know why we are so terrible versus the run. I thought our D-line was a strength. Kyle, again, we're recorded a lot. Preseason, what do we say? Good pass rush, but they're thin on the inside. And if anything, they're going to get pushed around versus the run and be good versus the pass. Recently, they've been terrible versus the pass and terrible versus the run, so they got to step their shit up.
And I honestly, I think a lot of it too, Joe, is honestly we're getting out coached too. It's not just a talent thing.
Dude, there was a play where and I love Foley too, but dude, you got to know. And if I was any other team versus the Jets, screens, short passes, traps, whams, it's all I'm doing.
I mean, how many times week in, week out are we seeing players get 7 yards upfield before they even get touched?
Yeah. And Foley has been, he had a couple of good plays, but last game he had a play. I forget. I think it was there was a trap and a wham block. And I forget if he got whammed or trapped, but he's literally running upfield for a good second by himself. And you have to realize how many times he's been gashed on trap plays. And when that's going to happen, if you're already caught in position, what do you want to do? You want to turn into the blocker, blow him up, and try to blow up the lane. And he just runs right past it. He just sprinting upfield, no idea where he's going. And it's been happening for weeks. So you have to realize it. And it pisses me off that they say after the Pats game, hey, we learned a lot about ourselves, or whatever the fuck they said. You didn't, because teams watching that, it's all I would run. Obviously, you're going to sprinkle in some other stuff, but heavy trap, heavy wham, heavy screens, heavy short passes, a lot of crossing routes across the middle, make the linebackers pass shit off because they spot drop a lot more than match, which I don't like. The defense has been blowing plenty of coverages, or in a lot of bunch sets. Jets have been having a lot of problems, and this comes with being a young team too. But it pisses me off at the same time because it's not really it's an excuse, but you can't still completely excuse it or absolve them. There's a lot of times where they're in man coverage and a late motion really screws up their assignments. They're where, okay, so let's say it's like a 2x2, one of the twos now becomes trips and they motion into that like a bunch. The assignments always get blown up, and then there's one guy running free on a drag route. It happened multiple times. Even this game, last game.
In the near Joe Mixon touchdown, or almost touchdown, not that was motion into a trips bunch or whatever, but I mean, even Quincy's having to point CJ in the right spot. And going back to what you said about Foley, I don't have numbers, and I guess Nania does, but based on what I'm seeing, and I don't chart just like you don't chart. If either of us did this full time,
if this is my full time job, yes, I would do it. But unfortunately, I have to work another 50 hours a week.
So based on what I'm seeing, Foley's definitely playing a lot more 3 this year. So for those that might not be familiar with that, I mean, if you're watching Joe's stuff, you obviously know what that means, but he's playing outside shade of the guard a lot more than in previous years where you're seeing, as a 1 tech where he's or 0 where he's directly right over the center. So if Foley's more out in space, I mean, Foley's a beast. He's a mountain of a man. He's hard to move. But the further you move him away from the center, the more he has to work in space. And that's just not his skill set. And I asked you about that. I believe it was last week too. But I have to believe that that's part of the problem there too. But even angles and stuff too, man. So if you're constantly, I don't know if do you want to talk about the play? And I can
I'm just showing when they have a 2 tight end and wing here. And when there's 2 to 3 guys bunched up, I can tell you right now, in man coverage, this guy's not supposed to be this open.
No,
Just simply, you can't tell who was supposed to take him. I would venture to guess, and I went over in the review, I would say it was Marcus May. But this isn't supposed to happen. Like there were so many blown defenses in this game, in a lot of the games. I have a couple of more plays I could probably bring up, but
and we're talking consecutive weeks now. Yeah, and when guys are getting 7 yards,
Davis,
when a running back is getting 7 yards downfield before he's even touched once, that's a combo of things. Not only is your front seven getting their ass kicked, yes, that's part of it, but also you're getting out coached too, in the sense that, like, you know, a lot of the NFL is about angles and stuff and how you can get guys blocking at the proper angles and stuff. And sometimes the Jets are even they're out gapped. Whereas, like, you know, they don't have enough guys in the box at the time of the snap to defend in there, or they're at improper angles and stuff. They don't shift well when there's motion, and, you know, they're getting reached and stuff, or the guards are able to climb to the next level and get their hands on the linebackers. The defense has been bad. And part of that is coaching. And honestly, honeymoon's over at this point. Like, we seriously have to be questioning Salah at this point. And
people the first couple of weeks were like, dude, Ulbrich is going to get poached from us. What are we going to do? And again, I feel like when people are too low, you know, we're here. When people are too high, we're here. And we were saying in those weeks, Kyle, at least I was, that how good was the defense? You know, the Panthers took the foot off the brake. The Broncos, they got absolutely blown out.
We got bailed out by a fumble on the goal line against the Panthers too.
You got bailed out on a botch. It wasn't a botch snap. Like the fullback like ran into Sam Darnold. The Pats were up like up 20 before you can fucking sneeze. Like a lot of these, the Titans game, they were brutal. That game. Even we
got lucky. No AJ Brown and no Julio.
The Bengals they gave up 31 points. The Pats scored put up 54. Was it 54?
51. I
50.
think.
I think it's 54. I think it's 54 to 13.
Maybe it's 54.
I could be wrong, but 50,
you might be
50
right.
burger. This last week, they could have put up 50 easy. Like, the defense has not been good. Now, with that being said, again, try to be fair. They're playing with a bunch of backup safeties. Marcus May has been injured. CJ was out for a while. Jared Davis has been out, who, by the way, his 2 games that he's been in, he's made absolutely no impact. Carl Lawson's out. Vinny Curry's out. Huff is out. You know, like they have some injuries, like, for sure, but there's no excuse to give up. What was it? I think 7 or 6 out of the first 7 drives for the Colts were touchdowns.
Yeah. And
bro.
And by the way, even if Carl Lawson's playing in that Colts game, the Jets are getting gashed in the run game.
He doesn't make a difference in that game. Like, he makes a difference, maybe, but not a big difference. Snoopy said JFM got paid and disappeared. Yeah, he's been completely absent. It is what it is. So we're gonna keep moving on. Yay, so bad. Ashton has no clue how to play the position. His pursuit, dude. Again, if you're one of those people who likes to bask in misery, go to, I think I was with TOJ at that point, Kyle. Maybe you remember TOJ film room, Ashton Davis, and have yourself a blast, because Marcus and I, it would be like 5, 6, 7, 10, 15 plays in a row and be like, dude, it just all bad. We're
staring at the quarterback.
We were like, like, this is really bad. Like, and we were just laughing.
And one of the plays, which was on, like, it was literally when he got drafted, it was on his highlight reel, was when he picked off Herbert.
He was out of position.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. Old school Lions fans. I don't know what Lions we were talking about there. Sure. Green Bean at my son's football practice playoff week 1 this weekend for them. Just hanging out with you guys for a bit. Oh, I hope he does well. Green Bean. I'm curious about what position he plays, I
was gonna ask the same question.
You ever say what does he play? Oh my god, and most face tattoos, so bad. I guess this is when I was showing something. I'll try to show some more stuff as we go through.
Wait, who has a face tattoo?
I don't know. I'm just going through it. The problem is we mention stuff and then I'm reading stuff from 10 minutes in the past and I can't relate to what they're talking about. LaRon Landry was incredibly jacked. Yes, but we're talking about DeJuan Landry. When LaRon Landry was here for his 1 year, he was actually pretty good. And he was and in the defense of human bodies. Yeah, I don't know how to say that. LaRon Landry was on
Tannehill.
He was on steroids. So yeah, he was yoked. Even though steroids, you still have to do work, but still. Salah is on pace to technically have the worst Jets defense. Why do we need him? Salah. I like Salah to a certain extent, but he needs to step in with Ulbrich and say, listen, bro, like whatever it is, we got, and this is much easier said than done. We got to figure out traps and screens. Like they can't keep doing this. And Q. So this is an interesting conversation. We'll get to it later. Q needs to produce more consistently, but Q also had like a good 4 or 5 run stops in this game. So Q actually had a
one
good game
one area that he keeps impressing me is when he's in run pursuit laterally.
Yeah, and the one
like
thing,
and he like I wouldn't like he's a pretty good athlete, but like you see his motor there and his play recognition there.
Play recognition. That's what I was going to talk about. You could tell, and I forget exactly what play it was this game, but there was one play where like I think the left guard, and he beat up Quentin Nelson like 3 or 4 times this game, by the way, in the run game, just run out there. But I still do want more in the pass game, pass rush. I forget what it was, but like the left guard or the tackle or whoever it was vacated, and then he felt the down block coming and said, "Oh shit! Well, if they're blocking back to me, the play is probably going opposite of where I'm getting blocked to." And then he fights again to gets to the play side and makes a play. Like his recognition is pretty good. So we'll move on. But he still needs to produce more than he's producing because he's a guy who is going to get $18 to $20 million a year. You'd think
he's a guy who you called elite.
Yeah,
many times.
yeah. And I think this year so far for the leap that I thought he was going to take, he's been disappointing. With that being said, he's still been very good, but he hasn't been elite. He hasn't been. Hey, where's that Nasruddin kid? He's been injured. Is he still on IR? No, he got activated last week, but did he play? I don't think he played. Maybe special.
I don't think he played.
He was on IR for a little bit. Nasruddin is another guy, Solomon Jets, who you have to, when you're evaluating guys from college, and I'm assuming, no offense to 99 people in here, I'm assuming a lot of people, you guys aren't. Hopefully that's why you watch at least the live streams, maybe the actual film reviews. Nasruddin was a guy who was a lot of physical traits, but needed a lot of development. I don't want to say that so weird. Development mentally. So he was never going to start out fast. I didn't think he was going to start out fast. So don't be discouraged with Nasruddin. Because the thing with moving from safety to linebacker, safety, you have a lot more time while moving up to assess what's happening. Linebacker, those offensive linemen on combos and moving up to the second level are in your face in a second. So you really have to process really quickly. And especially when you're 215, 220 pounds, you have to process even quicker because you need to get to the spot before the offensive lineman does. And you need to be able to like shed those blocks, move laterally, whatever, to get away from those blocks. You have to process really, really quick. So when you're a thin linebacker, you have to think a lot quicker than a David Harris did, where he could blow up a guy, or Avery Williamson, or whoever it may be. Kyle Hamilton. Dude, and again, I don't know like draft prospects right now, but safety individually, again, right guard, tight end, I'd rather take them over a safety at this point, but individually, safety is the biggest needed on the team. And if Kyle Hamilton is a legit top 5 prospect, I wouldn't mind taking him in the top 5. I know we've been burned by safeties recently, but it's our biggest need on the team. And if he's the best guy there, I don't care about taking Kyle Hamilton. Apparently he's a generational guy. I haven't watched enough to really to put my stamp on that, but
Joe, maybe you should be a little slow on that because PFF has him ranked really high, and PFF is so good at grading safeties.
Hey, get Greenbean as a guest. Maybe for like a draft thing or something like that, or maybe I'll hang out with Greenbean one time. I don't know, Salmon. I don't really. The thing with this channel is, to be completely honest, I don't really collab a lot on this channel because we tend to talk a lot of film, and a lot of guys don't like to talk film. But moving on, sure. Q takes a lot of unnecessary heat. Yeah. OBJ, Packers or Rams. Big Green, he already signed with the Rams. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he's there. Oh, you're late. OBJ to join the Lakers. Okay, moving on until we get to more comments, and then eventually I'll be 20 minutes behind and go through it again because we only got through Mike White and it's been an hour and 6 minutes. Josh Johnson, and again, I could push past 8 this show, so we could do 8, 8:30, whatever we got to do. So, hence the alcohol, which I didn't open this one, by the way. Don't make fun of me. I had fat tires. My fridge is running thin right now, so I only have claws. I'm not a claw guy, but I'm not going to not drink over having claws. So I hate these, but it's better than nothing. So before people start talking shit about claws in the chat, I don't like them either, but it's better than nothing. So continuing on.
This is not the only time I've seen you drink them. So
when
if you hate, I saw you drink some the first 2 weeks.
When?
First 2 games, either in Carolina or I saw you drinking them at MetLife.
Oh, okay. Not in MetLife. No.
Okay, then I guess in Carolina.
Okay, so to preface this, or not to preface it, but to give some context to this, Kyle, what were we doing the night before that? Or do you remember what I was doing the night before that? How many shots of Jameson did I do that night? So we get to bed, which you left early, so that's fine. You can leave early. We left at like 2:30 in the morning. We woke up at 7, 5.5 hours of sleep. I was hungover as shit, drinking for 3 days straight. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna ease into it with some claws to start the day, or maybe it was like Bud Light seltzer or something like that. But yeah, some one of those drinks. So yes, I did, but I was also very, very hungover, and I didn't want to vomit all over everybody. So yes, that did happen. But I don't like claws. I like real beer or real drinks. But continuing on, thank you for being an asshole. With Josh Johnson.
All right. I thought he was pretty fine overall. I mean, there was a couple of mistakes he made, and he almost had that near pick 6 at the end. But I thought he stepped in and did, an admirable job, to be honest.
Yeah, it was all pretty simple. I feel bad for him too with that pass deflection late with the interception, because that was not his fault.
Yeah.
It was really ABT for getting blown up backwards. ABT had a couple of flubs in the pass game. But overall, yeah, Josh Johnson was pretty good.
And kudos to Nania for pointing it out. I don't think that Colts secondary was very good. And I think that the Jets receivers, except for, I guess, Denzel Mims, he didn't play a good game. But Elijah Moore was really good. Yeah. And I'll give Mike LaFleur credit again. I thought he called another pretty good game.
Hold on, Kyle, where are we going? So we went from Josh Johnson to Elijah Moore to Denzel Mims to Mike LaFleur. You're taking too many leaps right now, brother.
Okay. Well, there's a reason why. I'm saying, like, listen, Josh did fine, but I think a lot of the offensive production, like you see the stat line. Oh man, Josh Johnson. Like, I almost wished I played him in fantasy this weekend, because I had to fucking play PJ Walker, which I'm not going to get into that.
You would have never known that Mike White was going to throw a pass and not be able to feel his throwing.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to say, but like someone who just looks at the box score, like, oh, Josh Johnson, like he played great. Now, well, he played fine, but
I
think there were other reasons why the offense played good. Is all I'm really trying to say. But
the fact that the Colts were up 42-10 and they were playing off helped a lot. Let's be honest.
Yeah, although when the media brought that up to Robert Saleh in the press conference, Saleh wasn't too happy about that.
Which is bullshit, because they were playing off. They were playing off, dude. That one play though, did you see? And a lot of it was pretty average, but did you see the play where I what's the word I'm looking for? I not gloated, but I drooled over the play in the film review. When they run like that flat 7 concept.
I didn't watch your Colts film review yet.
Well, did you see the play where he ran that flat 7 concept and he looked to the flat to sell the cloud corner and he threw the 7?
Definitely. Can you pull it up?
You definitely saw that?
I definitely watched every play. Sometimes, like when you're just describing it, sometimes it doesn't always come in my mind.
Is his best play of the game right here.
Okay.
So 7, flat, cloud corner, cover 2. So with his read, he knows that he's gonna be able to get outside of this corner, Mims on a 7, because of the alignment. He knows he's getting outside. His main thing he has to worry about with this is the cloud corner, who's going to play curl to flat. So he has to sell the flat to get to that, to get him out of that curl zone, which is a short zone where he's going to be open underneath this deep safety. So you're going to see what he does. And it's really, really nice. So, and you're going to see it here, middle, goes to the 7. You're going to see him flip his shoulders just a little bit to the flat. Watch what it does to the safety or to the corner who has zone eyes. It's now going to butt on the flat. Boom, throw it behind him. I love that play. Love it. And again, you're going to see him pump it. So middle, see the 7, pump the flat, or just shoulder fake to the flat, 7's open, and it's perfect. So continuing on, but you're going to see it right here. The corner, exactly why he does that is to open up that window. That is chef's kiss, perfect right there from Josh Johnson. So I like the game, but again, with that being said, a lot of it was dump offs and wide open stuff underneath. But that's as pretty as it gets. And I know you're big on smash concepts and flat 7s are
Well,
whatever,
no,
whatever you wanna call it. So,
but my thing is when it's done right, it's sexy. And Sam always made it look so difficult.
so hard.
Yeah. So it was just annoying to watch that. But
Yeah.
yeah, man. So that's just so Josh Johnson's 35. I know he hasn't played a ton of snaps in the NFL, but he's been, he's XFL and all this other kind of stuff. But he's been around the game for a long time. And that's just a little subtle thing to quarterbacking. And that's the type of stuff that Zach will get in time, because Zach can obviously hit that throw. See, Zach can hit that throw with bad feet, like Josh, like Josh had like proper feet and mechanics there too. And, to hit that throw. But anyway, like, that was a great play.
Larry says this show is smarter than me. I know that much. I appreciate that, Larry. I don't know how smart you are, but I'll take that. Mike says, Joe or Kyle, someone asked earlier about your thoughts on Tardif. If he could start ahead of GVR.
I've never seen him play it down. Well, I guess I have, but
I've seen him in passing, like not really watching him. But again, and I hate to say this, but based on what Nania put, not to say that I hate what Nania puts out. I'm just saying based on his stats and the pressures given up and the sacks given up when he was with the Chiefs on their Super Bowl run in that year, he put up some pretty average numbers, which is a lot better than GVR. So if he can bounce back to that near average form, he could obviously be an upgrade, but I can't. It's not like I've watched Tardif.
What's his age?
30?
Oh, he is 30?
29, 30, 31? Yeah, right, somewhere between there.
Oh.
But again, offensive lineman, you can get another 2-3 good years out of him maybe. But no, he's not 25. You're not going to get a long-term option, obviously.
I thought he was. I was under the impression that he was pretty young, and
it's okay to be carb conscious. That's true. I do try to eat pretty well, and that's usually why I tend to drink like Tito's and vodka with like club soda or something like that. I don't, because beer is just so much. And so it's like again,
I didn't know you. I didn't know you try to eat well, bro, because you were eating everything in sight. In
Carolina, when I'm hammered, if you could be carb conscious and you're hammered, then God bless. If I eat like that all the time, Kyle, I'd be a fat piece of shit. And I don't. Maybe I am. I don't think so. But
I just thought you had good genes.
No, I try. My son is a corner and a second wide receiver. All right. I played a safety corner running back and safety corner running back receiver. I know Kyle's like O-line, D-line, linebacker.
I made
those
several
broad shoulders, bro.
I made, yeah, it's definitely my strongest body part. I made several position changes in my career, and all on my own. This was at my coaches prompting me, and it was all for the better.
Alex Worm, a police officer drinking claws. Don't you know there are no laws in drinking claws? I do know there's no laws in drinking claws. Love it. Mike Whiteclaw, PJ Walker, RJ MacPot 720. Just got in. Love the show, guys. Forgive me if you covered this, but can't Sherwood and Hamilcar go back to safety since it's their position in school? Hamilcar could. He has athleticism to do so. Maybe like a box safety. So I think he could be that hybrid, safety, linebacker, apex. But there's a lot of thinking when it comes to safety in the NFL.
So. I don't see that. Hamilcar Rashid?
No, did I say him? I meant Nasruddin. My bad.
Oh, okay.
Nasruddin. Sorry. Nasruddin has the athleticism, because you know what I'm going to say about Sherwood.
Oh.
No, hold on. He's talking about. Did he screw us up? Yeah.
All I was saying is I heard you say Hamilcar and then Apex.
RJ sabotaged the show on purpose because he said Sherwood and Hamilcar. I thought of Rashid. He's talking about Sherwood and Nasruddin, I think. So that fucked me up. Nasruddin, there's a lot of thinking when it comes to safety, and he's not the most like smart, aware guy at this point in his career. And now that he went from safety, where he struggled mentally, to linebacker, now he hasn't played safety in the NFL, which is a whole different ballgame than college. It would take him a while to transition back into safety. But could he do that as like a flex player, like a safety linebacker hybrid, apex? Sure, I think he could do that. Sherwood, absolutely not. He's not athletic to play linebacker, in my opinion. I'm not a big fan of Sherwood. I wasn't a big fan of what he put out in college, and absolutely not from him. He could maybe be, again, Sherwood, to me, call me unfair, call me whatever you want. I think he could be an okay backup. I don't think he's a starter ever. I can't see it unless he completely changes his physical makeup, which how are you going to do that? He's 220 pounds, 225, and he's already unathletic. Now he has to add more weight.
He was a plotter in college. If he's a plotter in college, he's going to be a plotter in the NFL.
Especially if he's trying to add weight to take on, Quentin Nelson at guard. So no, absolutely not. Nelson could, but.
And some people kind of hyped up like, oh, well, look at all he's doing for the defense pre-snap and stuff. And
yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, saying I would love Hamilton. Yeah, I'll watch him. Obviously, if they
let's do the super chat.
Yeah, I just got back to it. Or I just scrolled down to it. The thing with the draft prospects, I will do a review. I think I did 30 plus reviews this offseason. I will do a review of pretty much every single free agent the Jets bring in and all the draft picks. I think this year was 10 picks and 13 and 3 of the UDFAs I did. So I did 13 to 14 reviews. So I'll do a review on all of those guys once they're drafted.
Joe is a quality over quantity guy. Not that you don't put out quantity, but definitely quality. There are some people that'll put out a draft guide of 200 to 300 prospects. It's like,
and they watch it for 10 seconds each.
If you're doing this part-time, if this is not a full-time gig for you and you're putting out a draft guide, 200 to 300 prospects, honestly, how much of their film did you actually watch?
I'm calling bullshit. You watch a game or two and you know a player. That's absolute bullshit. Maybe you already talked about it from those kills from Europe, I believe. Right? Those are Euros. But have you seen Elijah Moore do something different in the last 2 games, or is it just the offense clicking and the QB's delivering? A part of it is they're being more creative.
He looks crisper in his routes too. You haven't seen the slipping.
Dude, he ran
even him catching the ball too. Like the way he's attacking the football looks a lot more like college Elijah Moore, whereas he was being kind of more passive with the ball.
The 2 touchdowns, and people will put up the highlights of the 2 touchdowns. Those were the 2 easiest plays he's ever had. The one deep dig they call it, really, really nice. And then he ran an out route, which was, again, I gushed over that route. I get into route running a little bit, Kyle, and that route that he ran on the out route was so nice.
You'd be doing a review, and sometimes you'll spend 10 minutes on one route. Sometimes.
Dude, yeah. That route, I might have spent a couple minutes on it, but versus a corner with outside leverage, he stems to get outside, but again, you don't want to stem completely.
Pull it up.
Keep holding him outside.
Come on, pull it up.
Dude, there's 70 plays.
It'll take a moment. If you're talking about how much you're gushing over it, you can pull up one play of Elijah Moore. Come on, man. He's the future. All right. While you do that, Andrew Golden says beard game looking strong, fella. See, Joe, you got another compliment about your beard, man. See, Joe doesn't let Joe likes going. See, but Joe likes going with the clean shaven, man. But Joe, isn't that work, man?
I don't like going with the clean shaven. My work says you have to go with the clean shaven, so I have to go with
but they allow the goatee, or do they allow the goatee year round or only during this
time? Positive of my work, and we're talking about maybe doing it year round, because I'll rock the goatee. That's fine. Which, by the way, I have to shave it for my wedding most likely, but for maybe one live stream, it depends on when it falls. I might just do a full Manchu, just shave everything, and it's just this, and it's just gonna go. Why? Just for one stream, it'd be hilarious.
You're gonna look like what is this, Rex Kwando or the Bengals long snapper? You ever see the Bengals long snapper?
No. My work does no shave October, November, December, pretty much. So I get to not shave really for a couple of months. But you'll see. I'm not going to do this whole thing, Kyle, but you're gonna notice what I'm talking about. Stem outside, 2-3 steps inside to hold them. Break, really, really nice here from Elijah Moore in this one. Looks so simple, but it's so nice. That is so nice. Again, outside to get where he wants to go to get that outside leverage, but now he doesn't want to continue to stem outside because he continues to stem outside. This guy's going to crowd the route break. He's going to get over the top. So what do you have to do? Now you have to bend it back into him. You have to get it vertical. He takes it vertical for 1-2 steps to open to hold him where he's at. Break outside. Perfect route. Outside. Turn it right there.
Yeah, sexy.
So he turns into him.
Sexy.
1, 2, break, drive, line, open, catch, hands.
Yeah, and the dude doesn't have long arms or whatever. But if you let that ball come into your body, you might not catch it. The defender might be able to get there. And what the fuck is up with Denzel Mims catching with his body now?
We have so much to get into.
Like, he didn't do that shit in college. What's
it's
up?
it's overthinking, and a lot of his routes too, Kyle. Like I know you're watching a lot of his routes. It's like, and there are times for like those bump cuts, like you're cutting while you're bumping while you're cutting. It's pretty self-explanatory. And he's relying way too much on his physicality, like getting to where he's supposed to break, pushing off, breaking inside. Like he's doing that way too much. So he's definitely starting to think, because he was a prolific hands catcher.
Yes.
In both college and in his year one. And this game, the last 2 games, he's had like 3 or 4 drops on body catches.
And dude, man, I was such a big believer in him and his ability to catch with his hands. When we did our superlatives in the offseason, I gave him best hands on the team. He was the guy
you also expected him to have 11 touchdowns this year.
Yeah.
And you were a little bit weird why I put him so down on my top 25.
But I'll tell you what, though, when you did give me pushback on the touchdowns, but you gave me no pushback on the best hands on the team.
He does have the best hands. Well, no, Elijah Moore. I think we definitely had a conversation about him and Elijah Moore.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, it wasn't crazy for me to say that. But now, like, dude, what's going on, man? And another thing I've been watching too, like, when you could tell when he's not the primary target on a route concept, he gives up. Like, he doesn't run his route all the way through.
Those skills, Finland represent. Got to go to sleep though. 2 a.m. These streams will be the end of me. I get it.
Wait, where's he? 2 a.m. Where's he at?
He said Finland.
Oh, Finland.
No, never mind. I was thinking something else. Moore was a beast in the SEC. Yeah, he's getting more involved because they're their offensive line is playing a little bit better, and they're starting to target him more. You're seeing more end arounds, you're seeing more trickery, and that's a big part of his game. Elijah Moore is a good player, and a lot of people, again, because people are stat humpers. I'll always use that term, stat humpers. You Google his stats and you don't watch the film and you don't see him getting open, or you think because he's not getting stats, he's not getting open. And we watched multiple times in the last couple of weeks when he's not getting targeted, he's getting open and running good routes. Now, that's not to say that he didn't have a drop versus Carolina. He didn't have this drop or that drop. He didn't slip on a couple of routes, but overall, he's not been as disappointing as you guys have thought in the first couple of weeks. In the last 2 weeks, he's been playing. He's been getting the results. So,
by the way, how cool was his touchdown celebration, if you want to call it that, when he scored, where it was kind of like some type of boot action concept, and then he comes around and he avoids a guy trying to hit him low, but I forget which player came up to him. I think it was Griffin, and he's just like,
Kyle,
like that was chill. That was chill, man.
Kyle, I love it. So you haven't watched my review, right? You haven't watched my review?
I haven't watched it yet.
Dude, it is so funny because I mentioned it because I talk about how I'm like an old, like grumpy fuck, like get off my lawn type guy. And the fact that they were down like 42-10 there, and he comes up and Griffin comes up to celebrate, and he's just like, nope, hand on the chest. I'm just gonna hand the ball back to the ref. I loved it. And I talked about it. I loved it.
And I totally did not watch your thing too. So we had the same exact thoughts on that.
That's great, because I hate when people are down 42-10, they score a touchdown and they're celebrating. Now I get it to a certain extent where, you're trying to make your money. If you're on a practice squad, you make the play, you're excited. I get it. But overall, I love the guys who are mindful, like, we're getting blown the fuck out. Like, I'm not going to celebrate right now. And the fact that he did not celebrate on that first touchdown, I was like thrilled. I gushed about it. That is hilarious. He's all the same thing. Mims is a good blocker, but he also had a really bad block this game on a bubble screen, which I was not thrilled with either. So he had 2 or 3 drops and a missed block on a bubble screen, which I was, again, not happy about because that's what he does. NYJ Jets, Florida, I guess, or FL. Jets 24, Bills 20. Bills were outplayed for 3 quarters by the Dolphins and shed the bed versus the Jags. Patriots will obviously win the division. The Pats,
I don't know about that.
They could. And do I think the guy's crazy for saying we're going to beat the Bills at home? Listen, the last 2 home games we've played, we beat the Titans and the Bengals. Can we not beat the Bills at home? I don't think it's a complete. It's maybe a little bit of a long shot, but it's not crazy to say we could beat the Bills at home.
No, it's possible.
Mike White said when he comes into the locker room, they chant his name. Maybe. Are we past Josh Johnson? I guess so, right?
I don't think we need to say much about him.
He's
not going to even be active this week, is he?
Running backs, do you have anything? I think Michael Carter played a good game. It wasn't as good as the Bengals game, but still overall, like he's been, again, you look at the stats, you look at just the play on the field, it matches it in terms of like broken tackles, yards after contact, all this shit. Like even the Pats game, again, talk about it, stat humpers. So Google his stats. And he ran for whatever. I don't know what he ran for, 10 for 37 or 10 for 41. I think he ran for 37 yards that game, and 41 of his yards came after contact. So like he's been playing really, really well regardless of the stats. Michael Carter's been good. This game wasn't like a crazy high.
There wasn't much room for him to run in this game.
Yeah.
And even like, if we're even talking, I can't even think of like if he got a lot of screens his way, but like when a lot of the screens in the Bengals game, he had a lot of, he was getting room to work with. And even when he broke out into space, he was still breaking tackles. He didn't really have room to work with, but, Ty Johnson. So the fumble's bad, but
the play right before that was bad too.
Which play was that?
When he just is I think it's like it was a one back power or a pin and fold or something. And he just he has no patience at all. Like he cannot let his block set up, and he just presses, and then cuts right into a tackle. Like he just, I'm not a big fan. I think like Ty Johnson.
Like I kind of like the way you described it. And I think it was your Bengals review that like first and second down, like where it's not like a super obvious passing down, like third and long, you don't want him out there. Cause if you're going to keep him in the block, you don't trust him as a blocker. And, his hands are questionable, but if he does catch the ball and he does get out in open space, he can make guys miss and he can run dudes over.
And this is almost simplified because you like everybody in open space, but I like Ty Johnson in open space. I like him as like a first and second down receiving back. Some trickery, some screens, but in terms of between the tackles, first through third down, absolutely not. And him in pass protection on third down, absolutely not. So first and second down, okay, which you usually don't hear. You hear third down back, you hear power back. I don't think you hear very often first and second down receiving back. People don't say that, but I have a reason for it.
It's too much to say. It's a mouthful.
I don't. Is that why? Yeah, it's a mouthful. That's why people don't say that. So I think he's a third, like a third running back on a depth chart, but as a 1B,
there's a reason why he was cut.
Yeah, he's okay. But
there is some level of talent there though.
No, for sure. Jeff Leonard, you got me. Hands up, don't shoot. I don't know what that means. All right. So,
I see that Assassin's talking shit again to me. He said we killed Custer in all caps.
Dude, I'm coming back in that league, bro. I'm starting to slowly come back. I'm like, I think I was in 12th place, and then I actually won again, and I'm still in 12th place.
I'm coming back in your dynasty league. 3 straight wins for me.
Yeah, and guess who's in first place in that dynasty league? Look up. It's okay. So yeah, and by the way, for that fantasy thing, I know a lot of people have like DM'd them, whatever. The bottom 6 in that league get dropped unless it's me, Sabo, Kyle, or Nanya. So the bottom 6 minus us get dropped, and I'm gonna promote it.
Robbie should get dropped just for taking Sam Darnold.
A random time in like May, I'm gonna promote it, and then the first 6 people to email me, you're getting a spot. There's no bias there. Whoever emails me right after I say it, you're gonna get the spot. Yeah, I'm not NYJFL. I'm not even touching that right now. It's just that is not. What
hey, Tammy McDaniel, the 49ers. No, it's the 49ers or Panthers.
49ers. Tammy. Yeah. I told you guys we should keep 3 QBs. Is she a Jets fan? Is she an NFC Niners fan and AFC Jets fan? 3 QBs, yeah.
Green Bean doesn't approve
of
multiple fan base rooting. He doesn't.
Dude, no, I don't root for any other fan base. Now
you hate every other fan base.
No, I hate them all. Yeah, I don't root for them. I hate them all. Now, like when it comes to the Super Bowl, like will I root for one team over the other, or playoff games over the other? It's like who do I hate less, or who do I know that I like who's not an asshole who roots for that team? Like the Chiefs.
You just bet on games and stuff, and you're just rooting for.
Well, yeah, usually it's bets. Bets take priority over who I know. But like the Chiefs, my grandpa's a Chiefs fan. Your dad's a Chiefs fan. So like if they're winning, I don't really care. And 2 of my friends are an asshole Broncos fan and an asshole Raiders fan. So the Chiefs are winning. I'm cool with it. But it all depends on
The Raiders, man.
Yeah. They're in a tough spot now.
Somebody had a funny meme because like first it was the Gruden stuff, then Ruggs, and now Damon Arnett. And somebody put out some meme like Derek Carr walking into the Raiders facility every day. And it was like sirens going off or something like that.
Tammy said she became a Jets fan because of Saleh. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with having a Jets fan. And I know you've been here a couple times, Tammy. Actually, a lot of the streams Tammy's been in here. Larry says, I like the Cowboys. There, I said it. Larry, I am disappointed in you. My wife roots for any New York teams. No, fuck that. We killed Custer. Stinks.
Hey, by the way, when I played Dark Assassin, I put up like 130 and he put up like 50. So,
all right, moving on. Ty Johnson vision sucks. Michael Carter's good. Tight ends. Croft had one really nice catch. Gets like a chest puncture, contusion, or some crazy shit. Now he's on IR.
With Darius Leonard in coverage.
Other than that, yeah. Other than that, not much on the tight ends. The receivers.
You pointed out that Griffin's been blocking better in recent weeks, which I'll give him that. And
yeah, he has been. It's like weird, but he has been blocking better.
He did have a touchdoan catch, which I mean, like
and that like that signature, their signature squirrel route that they call it, their squirrel route.
Which I mean, like he really didn't have to do too much there, and
he did. It was just a soft spot in a cover two. It was a perfect call.
He caught it with his hands. Okay, we'll give him that. Yeah,
sweet.
McGovern got his ass kicked a couple times in this game.
So again, there's always stipulations. Brandon says, I'll support teams playing the Seahawks or Panthers 1,000%.
Yes.
Always. Yes. But again, on the general basis, I hate every team. Continuing.
Yeah. Do you want to start talking about offensive line or?
We did receivers.
So we talked about running backs. Okay.
Elijah
receivers.
Moore.
Yeah, Elijah Moore. We already kind of gushed over him. We talked about Mims.
The two touchdowns were okay. Mims in a big spot has 2-3 drops and that blocked play on the bubble screen, which I don't know if you remember that play, but did a really, really bad job on that play. So Mims in a big spot. It's unfortunate because listen, you're looking at a guy who's a little bit buried on the depth chart, and now he has a chance with Corey Davis because Corey Davis plays X. That's Mims' position. So now that Corey Davis is coming back, his chances are going to go way down. And his 2 weeks where he had chances, he did not look good.
And then he got COVID too, right?
Multiple drops, COVID, getting sick. Like he just hasn't been reliable. And again, everybody's progress isn't linear, so maybe he develops, but not a good showing for Mims in a kind of a tight spot. Elijah Moore, good game. It's been a lot like his most recent games. The one play, his 2 touchdowns were wide open. Let's be honest, but overall, still a really good game. Keelan Cole. Really, really good game. -1 out route. I don't know if you remember the out route where Josh Johnson threw it and it was an underthrow. But Keelan Cole ran a route that was like 4 yards past his sticks. And I talked about that in the review. And I said, I think if anything, this is probably more on Keelan Cole because
I'm having a tough time picturing the player talking about. But it's okay.
Typically with running routes past the sticks on third down, you want to give yourself a yard or two. So like you don't run the route right to the sticks because you want to attack the ball. You attack the ball. Now you're behind the sticks. So usually guys go a yard or pass or a yard or two past the sticks so they can attack the ball and still be a first down. He ran the route like 5 yard past the sticks, didn't drop into it. Is a really lazy route, not a good break. He really rounded it out from like the 5 to like almost the 1. And then Josh Johnson, people on the broadcast probably said he underthrew it, but watching that, it was most likely a bad route by Keelan Cole. Other than that, really liked his game. I can't think of anything else from the receivers that really stands out.
I really don't want to see Jeff Smith playing as much as he's playing. Especially like, you're really starting to see more flash now. Like the past, I don't know. Again, I don't have percentages of who's played how many snaps off the top of my head. But I feel like over the past couple of games, the percentage of Moore snaps versus Jeff Smith snaps is not a huge difference, and it should be.
I had that same problem with the receivers. I mentioned it last game. There's been too many sets, especially in the red zone, because that's the most important part of the field, where you have Jeff Smiths of the world in, you have Braxton Berrios of the world in, and Elijah Moore, Jamison Crowder, Mims are sitting on the bench. I'm like, what the fuck are they doing? Why are these guys sitting on the bench in the red zone? And the same thing with the defensive line. While I get that's really important for the defensive line to be rested. The fact that I don't know what the exact numbers are right now, but Q is playing anywhere from like 50 to 60% of the snaps, and Tim Ward and Nathan
Shepard is horrible this year. Horrible.
Shepard and Zuniga, who again has been playing better than we expected him to be, but for him to be seeing a good amount of reps over, I'm not saying like reps in total. I'm saying enough reps where you're like kind of like over JFM and like those guys. Like, why are they on the field for 30, 40% of the snaps? Like, I get to a certain extent not playing Q 90, 95, or Q, Rankin, and JFM, the main three, and Fodder Cossey's playing like 50, 60% of snaps. But like, why are you not playing those guys at least 70, 80, and then giving the Zunigas, the Shepards 20% of the snaps? Right now, they're seeing like 40-ish. I again, that's without actual numbers, but that's what I think it is about. Way too many reps this game. I saw literally a lineup of Tim Ward, Nathan Shepard, and Zuniga. It's like, damn, dude, like you got to have one good player in there. Like, I get it.
No,
like, listen, there's a reason. Again, Brooklyn Nets fan here. I've been a Nets fan since fucking Kerry Kittles, so don't give me shit.
I met him once.
Kerry Kittles?
Yeah.
You know what's funny? I met like Richard Jefferson, and you'd think like 6'7" dude, 220, like they're gonna have a deep voice. I like walk up and he's like, "Hey, what's up, man?" I was like, "What the fuck? What the fuck?" I was like 12. Like, I have a deeper voice than you, bro. But like, there's a reason like those teams will play, Durant, sub out Harden early, and then play Harden with the backup. So you have that one guy. Like, the fact that it's Tim Ward, Zuniga, and Nathan Shepard, I'm like, they're not gonna they're not gonna do anything on this play. Like, they're fucked. So too much of the rotation from both the receivers and the defensive line. They're thinking too much in terms of like their personnel. Like, we talk a lot of times with the 11 versus the empty versus the 12 versus 21. Now for defensive line rotation, I think they're thinking too much like, oh, let's keep our guys fresh versus playing the better talent. Like, you got to sub them in or sub them out sometimes, but it's too heavy rotation right now.
Yeah. And going back to how he even got off on the tangents of subbing and things like that, like Elijah Moore, just based on his skill set and where you can deploy him, he should be playing all but maybe 1 or 2 series a game. Other than that, he should be on every series.
There is nothing that Jeff Smith does better than Elijah Moore, minus maybe throw football because he'd be a quarterback.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Tanner McDonald, Green Bean is a man. I agree. I also enjoy myself some Green Bean. James and Philly, my dad has always warned me of being a Jets fan. My dad's a Giants fan, and he probably could have made me a Giants fan, but he's not a big football guy. So, Tom and Matt, Kyle.
So how did you become such a big football guy?
A big football guy or a big Jets fan?
A big football guy. If your dad's not super into it, was it just playing in high school?
No. It was really Tom. Tom and his dad. Tom was like my best friend growing up, and then they took me to a Jets game, and ever since then I've been a huge Jets fan. So that was easy. And then football, like even in high school, like I was pretty like not like lackadaisical, but I wasn't like a big football guy in high school. I was kind of like, oh, I'll play on the team and whatever, like go to the parties, like all that shit.
Makes sense. Your team sucked, so.
All right. So yeah, we did suck. So just play it, and then I wasn't even like that interested in it then. And then I started watching the Jets really intently, and then I started to talk about it on a podcast. I'm like, I need to know actually what the fuck I'm talking about, and that's why I got into film. It's pretty simple.
Cool.
So Carmelo, glad to see Joe Blewett goatee works, my friend. Dude, I haven't got a lot of bad compliments. That's or bad comments. That's cool. I appreciate it.
But even more than the goatee, the haircut, the fade was good.
Yeah, it's gone away a little bit now, but
yeah.
I don't have $25-$30 I drop every 2 weeks. Actually, I do.
Bullshit.
But I'm too lazy.
Look how many all these beers and stuff you're drinking.
Yeah, they're real expensive. You bet, not you net. How great will it feel when the Jets win it? F the Yankee, Dallas, Steelers fans, let's go Jets. Yeah, 100% raw power.
You always get your chats always come up a little bit quicker than mine.
Really?
We still got free Kenny Yeboah stuff going on in the chat. I guess this won't stop.
I'm behind you. That's why Rankin's got to play that. Yeah, Rankin's had a really, really bad play. I recapped. RJ, Vince, and J Kidd days. Yeah, I was there before the Vince days when they had Alonzo Mourning and Kerry Kittles and Brian Scalabrine and Rogers. What was his first name?
What
Something Rogers.
college did Kerry Kittles go to?
Kenyon Martin. I don't fucking know. I was like 10. What college
Villanova.
did you go to? Why? Because you met him, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Dude,
exactly. Yep,
dude, man.
Bro. Go ahead.
Me and my brother used to play this game, NBA 2K, for Sega Dreamcast all the time.
Blewett and Smith, Yankees or Mets? I am a I'm a Mets fan. Fuck the Yankees.
I'm not gonna. My dad's a Mets fan, and I guess tried to make me a Nets fan, but I just don't like baseball, so I just won't even say.
Mets, Jets, Nets, Devils. I saw somebody mention the Devils were on. The problem with the Devils is right now, because Xfinity doesn't have MSG Plus, I can't watch the fucking Devils games. So the only way I can watch the Devils games is on an illegal stream, and it's on my computer, so I cannot watch the Devils right now. So hopefully they're winning. They smacked the shit.
Yeah, you're a cop. You enforce the law, so you would never break the law. Yeah, I get it.
Panthers, they beat the Panthers the other day, 7-3, the best team in the NHL. The Devils put a smackdown on them, so hopefully they're beating the Islanders right now, but I have no idea. Looking good with the goatee, bro. Another one, hater.
Notice how every obviously you don't read every chat, but every time someone praises your looks, you make sure to read those ones.
Dude, why not? Why would I read the other ones? I've had a goatee for about 40 years. My dad has actually rock a beard for about 40 years, so he's all about the goatee life. All right. Drew O'Neill, are you guys New York or New Jersey guys? We are Jersey. Yeah. Kyle's a little bit more North Jersey. I am Central Jersey. If you don't think there's a Central Jersey, then fuck you, because there is a Central Jersey. That's my opinion on that. Also,
you're very aggressive today. You hate every fan base. You want to fight every fan base, and fuck you if you don't agree with my opinion.
Central Jersey, it's there. Pork roll, also, it's not Taylor ham. Moving on.
Eagle, it's sarcasm. Eagle.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. Divvy 2020 draft is looking worse every week. We've gotten to that a lot of times, and I'm not going to do it again. We've done it plenty of streams. There are obviously flubs with it in terms of Mims at this point, Ashton Davis, but when people look at draft classes, they assume that every pick should work. And if I just told you, okay, they have Becton, Huff, Guidry, Hall out of one class, you'd say, okay. And that's based that's assuming that you know all the other teams' draft history, and less than 50% of the picks work out in the NFL. Less, like probably 30% of the picks work out. So if you're telling me out of 10 picks, you have 4 guys, again.
And by the way,
Guidry, Hall, Huff, Becton worked out. That's 4 out of 10, 11.
You weren't expecting jack shit out of Guidry. You weren't expecting, Hall certainly exceeded expectations. Huff, you weren't really expecting anything out of him. Becton, there was questions about him. The biggest questions really now is just health. But in terms of what we saw on the field, I mean, he was an instant impact player.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the early guys, Mims and Ashton Davis, have been a disappointment, but I mean, at least the two of us, we never really had that high of expectations for Ashton Davis. So, we'll see. We'll give it another year.
James,
another year or two.
Is Becton that good? When he was playing last year, regardless of,
he's very good in the run game. Very good.
And the thing about Becton is did he maybe struggle in a couple preseason games? Sure. Did he struggle a little bit in Carolina? Sure. But a lot of people, because they have nothing and not nothing better to do, because I do it too. But a lot of people, their attention is so focused on training camp, and they see these beat reporters talking about how he's struggling in training camp. Guess what? Training camp year 1, he struggled against Jordan Jenkins, and he came out and was playing like a top 10-ish left tackle. This year, he was struggling against Carl Lawson. Maybe he comes out again and plays like a top 10-ish left tackle. So we don't trust the beat reporters, and we hate the beat reporters. But then they put out opinions about training camp, we all take it like gold. Or not me, but I'm saying people do in general. So
yeah.
And
another thing, if I can just add with Becton too, there's a reason why he was drafted where he was drafted, and there's a reason why people talk about special traits. Daniel Jeremiah had him a top 5 player in the draft, and a lot of people really respect DJ. And the thing is all right, so Becton, in terms of pass pro, where he struggles a little bit, he has a tendency to sometimes miss time when he shoots his hands, and sometimes he can miss a little high, which is understandable because he's tall, but he's got really smooth feet. For a guy his size, 370 pounds, to have feet that are that smooth, you can't teach that. You just can't teach that. And that's natural. Like, so he's got the natural traits. With time, he's going to only get better. You know, like there's some really special talent there. And there's a reason why every time Joe Blewett starts this show, there's that part where he's talking about Becton. Like if he refines his technique and works at it, he could be a Hall of Fame type guy because there are special traits you can't teach.
So we're going to work through the rest of the chat, and then we're going to get to the defense as well. And I have to break the seal. So Drew O'Neill says he's Central Jersey 2, Edison area. Yeah, I'm in Monmouth County. So is Edison in Monmouth County?
Middlesex.
Is it in Middlesex County? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm right by I'm not going to give my exact, right by like Sandy Hook and all that stuff. I'm right by like Highlands, Middletown, all that stuff. Pork roll is the correct answer. I appreciate you, Larry. Somebody down in the chat said something about Taylor Ham, which Sherb, I hate you now. I appreciate you, Sherb. I know you've been here before, but Taylor Ham is not the correct answer. We can go over that. Taylor Ham is the brand. Pork roll is a product. How you guys feel about the May situation? We'll get into that in a little bit. Beat reporters like Cosbag. Wow, traded for what? Why is everyone so quick to talk about Zach? I didn't hear nothing about Jordan Love stinking up the game on set. Yeah, we're New York market.
He was pretty awful, man.
Dude, the fact that the Chiefs only scored 13 points against that too was like, what are the Chiefs doing? But really quick, I want to address that quickly, and then I'm going to get to Ali's comment, and then I'm going to go to the bathroom. He says any GM that has a draft with 2 to 4 starters and 3 to 4 contributors has a great draft. Carmelo said his stock is very low, but it can rise next year because it can't get any lower. Kyle?
Wait, whose stock? Whose stock is he talking about?
I guess Becton maybe, but go ahead, Kyle. Take over.
Yeah, okay. So Joe's usually back quick. In terms of Becton's stock low, if that's who they're talking about, I would not say his stock is low. You know, I think the coaching staff very much believes in him. Joe Douglas very much believes in him. And I think when he comes back, he's definitely going to make an impact. You know, but they need to play it slow and ease him back in. Yeah, definitely some people in the media have been treating Zach very unfairly. Jordan Love, man, dude. The Packers, man, how bad did they fuck up drafting him while they still had Aaron Rodgers? When clearly Aaron Rodgers still has several good years left in him. And if you're the Packers now, after what you saw with Jordan Love, I know they got themselves in this situation where Aaron Rodgers is now a free agent at the end of the year and he can go wherever he wants, but they need to do whatever they can to try to bring him and Devontae Adams both back. Yeah, in terms of, someone asked about May, and then another person said about the Achilles injury. Yeah, with May, especially with that injury, man, like, and it's something we were talking about with Lawson, man, like there's not a lot of great examples of players really coming back and being good. Like there's Terrell Suggs. There's like a couple other guys, but it's definitely much more severe than something like an ACL. ACLs are, you know, they're pretty common standard nowadays. And, you know, the doctors are really good at repairing those injuries. But something like an Achilles, you know, hopefully the medical science can get there, but, you know, and May was kind of struggling too. Like, and is he as good of a fit for what Salah wants to do? I'm not so sure, man. And, you know, after all the crap with his agent and stuff, you know, I don't know if he's going to be back. And quite honestly, I like the player, but we could do just fine without him. But then we definitely need to replace him though. So I just don't know that he'll be worth whatever price tag he ends up getting. Bus said he tore his Achilles once and was walking in a month. Marcus May needs to man up. All right, you were walking in a month. But when you plan,
the only thing I heard was he tore his Achilles. He needs a man up. That's all.
Yeah. So look at Bus. Bus said he tore his Achilles and he was walking in a month. Okay, you were walking, but were you planting and driving off?
Were you
that?
playing NFL football? It takes
turning
like
at the drop
months.
of a dime and running with a guy who can run a 4.4 or a 4.3. I mean, this is quite
and
different.
Nobody in history has ever done that. So unless you're just an absolute savage.
Yeah, and dude, and there are people who tear their ACL and they're walking. You know, they
walk right after it. You can walk when you tear your ACL.
Sometimes people tear their ACLs and they don't even get surgery. You know, it's different. But if you're an athlete, you must get surgery, or else you're just not going to be able to, like, you know, play and plant on it and stuff.
Anything? Did you comment on that was worth discussing, Kyle? Or?
I don't think anything that you really need to address.
Defensive line. Moving into that, Rankins absent this game, and the one play. Was terrible in terms of his like gap discipline. Absolutely terrible. Foley had a couple of nice plays, but still, I want to see him play better in the run. And to be completely honest with Foley, he's a 3-4 nose tackle. He's not a 4-3 guy playing 3-tech. He's just not. So this is not the best scheme for him.
Not at all.
It's not the best scheme for him. And while he has done better.
So given that, we were talking a couple of weeks ago, resign him. Do we pause a little bit on that now? And have second thoughts about that?
I don't think you do.
You don't think you resign him?
It depends on how much it is, because his ideal role is a first and second down, 3-4 nose tackle run stuffer. And to ask him to penetrate, whether it be on third down, second down, whatever it is, or asking him to penetrate, you're not taking advantage of his just raw power that he has, holding up a center, holding up a guard, whatever it may be. So if you're asking now for him to play a role which he's not necessarily the most comfortable in, looking at he only plays 50 to 55% of the snaps, is he worth, $9 million, $8 million playing 50% of the snaps in a role he's not necessarily the best in? So
yeah, and here's the thing too. So like good coaches, we talk about this all the time. You have to kind of adjust what you're doing based on what your players can do. That's, good coaches don't shove a square peg in a round hole. Okay. But someone like Foley and what he does, you don't adjust your scheme and build it around him. You build your scheme around someone like Quinnen. So, you don't say, okay, well, Foley's a great player. Let's resign him. And then let's start playing more 3-4 and so we can put him in a nose more. You don't do that with a player like that.
Yeah. So we'll see with him. Other than that, from the defensive line, Q has to produce more as a pass rusher more consistently. In the run game, he's actually pretty good this game, even though they gave up like 1,000 yards. But he made a few plays individually that were really, really nice. Rankins, not so good. Other than that, is there anything to comment on the defensive line? I don't really think there's much. I see my name mentioned here.
We could talk about Shepard. I briefly mentioned him, dude. Every time I watch this guy, and I'm not even talking about like the penalties, everyone and their mother just watching a regular game can point out, oh, this guy made a dumb penalty. Like, dude, that was really stupid. But then when you put on the coaches film, it's like, okay, he's had the dumbass penalties, even though he plays sparingly. And then, dude, I just saw him get his ass kicked many times in this game, like completely just getting tossed on his ass, getting like completely washed down in several gaps over and stuff. Like he was manhandled this game. When on pass rush snaps, I didn't see him creating any pressure. Like this dude's been bad, man. And he's old. And we were questioning whether or not he, like he was at least a roster bubble question for us. So,
what's his name? Assassin just said that Darren Lee commented back to my video.
What? Pull up the tweet. We gotta see that. So pull it up, Joe. Joe, pull it up on the screen. I want to see it. Share your screen, please.
That is hilarious. That is hilarious. I gotta answer back.
All right. So while
go back to back.
Do it in live time, man. That's good. That's good. Live stream, bro. Do it in live time. Come on.
Hold on. Okay.
Right, while you do it, I'll talk and fill the air for some people that.
I have to go through my Twitter now. You're on my Twitter, which I don't give a fuck about.
Okay. Yeah, you don't give a fuck about it. So Joe,
Darren Lee,
D Lee MG8, something like that, or you could just go to your recent tweets and pull it up. There, you found it. So Darren Lee was talking shit, something about like, oh, have the Jets even won 14 games since I've left there? And he's like, I have. And no, but by the way, it's not like somebody was coming at him or he was tweeting someone else.
Right here. He messaged him back with a him getting a pick versus Indy. I'm just gonna respond with another bad play.
Dude, pull up the play where Colecchio Semele.
This is the play I put up, by the way, people.
Dude,
this is him right here.
Joe, Raiders game week 2, Colecchio Semele,
dude,
drives him back a good 10 yards before he completely buries him on his back.
Yeah, but the only thing I have on this is at Joe.
Oh, you don't have that?
I don't know. Lee, like what's a key word I would put? Like terrible?
Try Osemele. Osemele.
Let me see. I got this.
Oh, dude, this is probably it. Here we go. There you go.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it. Look at him. Oh no, yeah, he's not on his ass, but
hold on. Is this it?
Yeah, but dude, look how big he's bitched. Look at 70. Colecchio Semele 70, bro.
70.
Look at 70. Kelechi Osemele. Look who's blocking. Darren Lee. Look at that fucking manhandle.
Okay. So this is what you do to that. Okay. Here we go. Here we go, people. Live time. All right. Let me just.
I like how you typed in terrible and
dude, because
when found it so quick.
When something's really bad, I usually say terrible because it just pisses me off when I say terrible. So now you go.
By the way, look at how Joe Blewett was recording this back then. You could see his keyboard and stuff.
Yeah, can you see this or no? That I'm recording this play?
Yeah, I can see that you're doing that. Yeah.
You can see the record and all that.
But why don't you just copy the link to the tweet and then just
because
tweet
then it's not going to show.
him?
It's not going to show. Like you're going to have to click on that to do. Just trust me. Trust me.
All right.
Just trust me here. Then you go like this, and then you do a little arrow. Where is he? Where is he on this play? Right here.
He's right over Kelechi
Right
Osemele. He's
right
in
there?
the A gap right now.
You
Yeah,
got me?
that's him.
Okay, and then you go like this. Then you put the arrow to him, and then you hit play. Yes. Okay, and then here we go. Hold on. I don't think you could see this. Can you see this?
No.
Hold on. I'll keep sharing it. We're going through my
By the
whole
way,
process.
who's running for that touchdown right there? Did you catch who's running for that long touchdown on that play?
Desktop. You can see all this now, right?
I can see it. Yeah.
All right. So now we got that arrow, and we get the start of the play, and then we go back to that Cordell Patterson.
Yep.
Cordell
Cordero.
pedals. Okay, he runs for the touchdown. Lee got bitched. Now you go save. And I see all my files, which is fine. I don't care. A misc. All right. We go Lee.
This is funny, man.
Lee bitched. We save it as that, and then we go to Lee. Hold on, where is this thing? D Lee.
Yo, and Joe, say this when you tweet at him. Say Adam Gase fleeced the Chiefs when he got a 6th rounder for you.
All right, I got you. He got 4 retweets. Wow. All right, here, people. If you're on Twitter, help me out here.
Dude, this must be sad. Let's think about this. You're a highly recruited player out of high school. You go to the Ohio State University. You get 1st round draft pick, in the NFL, and now you're fighting with people on Twitter over.
You say the Chiefs?
Yeah, the Chiefs. Gase fleeced the Chiefs when he got a 6th rounder for you. Adam Gase, the GM, bro.
Oh, hold on. Why can I? It's not gonna let me. Why is it not letting me scroll down and tweet that? Yeah, I'll figure out. I'll figure out a way. But that's my process. Hold on. I'll stop the share. I'm gonna tweet that. I don't know what the chat is saying right now.
Dude, I haven't.
People probably don't give a fuck.
No, James in Philly said this is amazing.
Jan said download the MSG Go app. You should be able to watch that way. Yeah, but some of it's blacked out. And again, I would have the MSG Go app through Xfinity, so Xfinity's blacked out with MSG Go app, so it doesn't matter. He posted a video. Why is that? Mention his fight at the concert. Look at my comment. Oh, I don't know what you said. What did you say, Assassin in my message? Yes, I don't know what you said. This is hilarious though. 4 retweets. He got really.
Yeah, but we'll go back to what I was saying. Like, this has got to be like, this is sad for him, man. Like, imagine, like, dude, like when you're even as a high school player, Joe, like, like when you're one of the people on the football team, like you got girls who want to wear your jerseys on game day and stuff, like your away jersey and stuff on game day. Like, everybody talks about like, oh, they're on the football team. And like this dude, he had some level of stardom, and now he's just this washed player that was never good, who's just the brunt of everyone's jokes now, and he's trying to bring him back into relevancy, and he's just going to end up getting made fun of even more for this.
Dude, it's like not letting me scroll down to hit tweet on this, which is weird.
You'll figure it out. You don't have to do it right now.
I want to do it right now. Fuck.
I know. I'm just saying, like, you don't got to stress yourself now. You'll figure it out eventually.
I will.
No doubt about it.
I will.
But definitely make sure you say that Gase, because dude, everybody hates Gase and stuff. So just the fact that you're going to praise Gase while dissing him at the same time is going to be funny as hell.
I can't, or whatever. All right. Moving on. You guys are definitely off the rails. Lee is probably bankrupt. Okay, so moving on from the defensive line, linebackers, Kyle. Why? Try to figure out how to freaking tweet out. Like, how can you have a full screen up and quote tweet something and not be able to tweet? Like, this is why Apple, like, I love Apple, but it sucks so bad sometimes. So now what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to email myself.
Hold on.
Edit it on my phone.
Tweet is the tweet in your drafts, and if it's in your drafts, you could just go to your phone.
Oh, so I can exit out of this. Save. Dude. Kyle. Good thinking, my guy. Good thinking there. You can send, yeah, good job. Good job, Kyle. That's exactly what I should do.
Okay. I hope it works.
Otherwise, all right.
Look like an
Continuing
idiot.
with the linebackers. What are your thoughts on those guys?
Well, they weren't good. They weren't good at all. Honestly, I can't even think of a positive play that's coming to mind right now. Not one. I'm not saying there weren't none, but none are coming to my head. And if you can think of any positive plays from the linebackers, please help me.
They play bad, dude. Like, even like Mosley has been better, or he's been really good this season. The 2 games since his injury, he's not been great. Bengals game, he was okay. I think people overrated it. And in this game, couple of poor angles, couple of times where he didn't break down and got a tackle broken on him.
Yeah.
I wasn't impressed with Mosley this game either. So continue on. I'm trying to figure this out so freaking hard. I'm going to figure it out eventually, because all I really have to do is go to the same tweet I just found and then do it all the stuff I just did on my phone, but it's just not.
It's not pulling up in your drafts on your phone?
Yeah. It's unsent tweets. Okay. You can save the. No, why?
You could also maybe try closing your browser and reopening it, and maybe it'd work. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it would work on what is it called? If I did it on
or I'm not an Apple Mac user, but
yeah, I'm gonna do it on
sometimes
Google freaking Chrome is what I'm gonna do it on Google Chrome, which is so stupid. All right, continue. Linebackers, yeah, dude, Davis, that one play with a touchdown from Jonathan Taylor for no reason at all, worked back to the backside of that play, threw his shoulder into a lineman, and then just let the play completely open up to his left side. Jared Davis is making no impact, which is obviously disappointing. So, yeah, Jared Davis, not good.
Yeah, I mean, we always knew that he struggles with the mental aspect of the game. And I know he's coming off an ankle injury, but he hasn't even looked super athletic, and he hasn't looked like a good mover yet. I mean, you could see some of his power a little bit, like when he tackled Pirine in the Bengals game. Like he basically, it's like an arm tackle, but you could see how powerful he was. Like he basically like clotheslined the dude and threw him out of bounds with one arm. Like, so you can see that he's a powerful dude, but I'm still not really seeing the movement skills from him. And he's definitely always thinking a lot. Like, towards the end of your, you pointed out at several different instances in your Bengals review, like there was a play on the goal line of that game where, he didn't squeeze down enough. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I don't know, man. Hopefully he gets the hang of this defense soon.
I'm trying to do all the same shit right now on my phone, which is just not going to be as pretty because I don't have the arrow. It's really pissing me off.
Dude, you don't got to do it live right now. Just do it on your computer when the stream's over. I know you really want to do it. It's funny as hell, man. You'll get it today.
It's no the shit. All right, fine. Fuck it. Tweet.
And by the way, like when you used to do your shows back then, and sometimes when I would jump on with you, like Lee was always one of the players we talked about a lot and gave a lot of shit to.
Oh, dude, yeah, because he's always sucked. But moving on,
and dude, in some of his dumbass tweets and stuff too, like he had a lot of Jamal Adams to him, like this, like really insecure, and then like he would say all these wild tweets. You got it?
Let's go.
Right.
Gotta descend.
Cryptic tweets, and then like he would delete them all. Like he would go on like a tweeting rampage about bullshit. And then
what I remember too was Jamal Adams. And I spent a lot of his plays, and like he retweeted like I think like one of them against the Broncos, and he was 100% just like looking at the page, whatever it was. Because then the next play I said he was a bad play. Like he gave up a touchdown versus the Broncos, and then like 2 minutes later he unretweeted my tweet. I was like, what the fuck, man? Like you had a bad play, but I'm sorry, my guy. Moving on to
A lot of these guys are ultra sensitive, man.
Yeah, ultra sensitive. So if you're on Twitter, go to my Twitter right now because I just put up the thing I was talking about. So that's great that he quote tweeted me and I quote tweeted him back. I'll go all day back and forth with him because I have a lot of bad plays with Darren
And
Lee.
dude, if you wanted to go through his film, bro, you could pull up a gazillion plays of him not knowing where to properly settle in a hook zone and just constantly just getting killed on dig routes and things like that.
Hold on, let's say since this is the Darren Lee shit on show, which people like who've been supporting the Jets for a couple of years right now are probably like, what the fuck is going on right now? Who the fuck is Darren Lee? Let's see. I probably have a lot more stuff in here. Lee, terrible. Danny. Let me see.
Is that Carlos Williams?
Who?
Is that Carlos Williams running?
So I just said this where is it? This is a while ago. This is like 2018. Being a great athlete doesn't mean you know how doesn't matter when you don't know how to use it. That's Lee right there. Good job, bro. Dude, trust me, if he comes back,
Wayne Gallman.
We have plenty of stuff to go at Lee with if he's gonna keep responding, which he won't. But that's hilarious. That's the Lee play we're just talking about. If I just keep saying he's terrible, Lee is in man running back, falls on the backfield.
And the funny
Lee
thing is, dude,
it was a weak shot.
I wonder,
terrible form and wide receiver breaks it.
And here's what I'm wondering too. Like, how long did it take him to find look at
that play. What are you doing, Darren Lee? Look at that. Like, dude. Oh, I hope. Oh, there you go. Darren Lee has a terrible balance change of direction from Kyle Smith. Look at that. He hates us. It's good.
Dude, so what the hell was I saying? Dude, if he actually got into a back and forth war with you, that would be funny, man, because you would just have so many more players. You'd have so many more players, and you just got these right on hand too.
All they gotta do is look up bad, terrible, sucks. Like any keyword with Lee, I put it out on Twitter about how bad he sucks.
Not that you really have the time right now to, but this was a couple of years ago when you were breaking this film down. Like, if you really had time and really just wanted to shit on him for like just to kind of enjoy your night, like if you really went through and watched some of that film now, you'd probably see some things that maybe you missed in the past, and like you could just really eviscerate him.
Yeah, he's so bad. Okay, so I'm praying he responds to that because I'll keep going. I'll go back and forth all night.
He's probably just gonna block you.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Which will be a W for you. That'll be hilarious.
I'll take it. Let's see. Hey guys, Ravens are Dolphins. Gabriel says, in terms of what?
Win the game. They're playing tonight.
Oh, dude, Ravens. Why would we no, not the Dolphins.
Yeah. Ravens, definitely.
Assassin says, no, you gotta post. Don't listen to We Killed Custer.
Well, he didn't listen to me.
That is great.
Yeah, I'm glad he didn't.
I had to find a way. I couldn't let that go.
What way ended up working?
I don't remember.
Whatever.
I literally had to like click on the bottom of the tweet and then scroll down because like when I maximized the screen, it just showed the top and I couldn't scroll down. It was like click to the bottom. It was whatever. I suck with technology.
All right, whatever. So we were talking about linebackers. Jared Davis still hasn't made an impact. CJ Mosley was disappointing this game. They all were disappointing. Quincy Williams. I can't think of anything that really stood out from this game from
Quincy?
him.
No, I was moving to the safeties.
Okay, safeties. We already shot on Ashton.
Shout out Ashton Davis, Marcus May tears his Achilles, and the most common thing again, people feel like they say somebody kicks their leg when they tear their Achilles. He literally backpedals, explodes forward, looks back, and look like somebody kicked his leg. Like, who the fuck was that? And obviously tears his ACL. So now they didn't trade him. Tears his ACL. Now you're looking at a guy who's 29 years old, who's going to miss. They usually take like 8 to 10 months. So he's going to be back for maybe the beginning of next year with a suspension, with him being 29, 30 years old, lying to the Jets. Like, how much does he get next year? Like, how much does he get? It's not going to be $3 million, but he might get $5-6 million. You went from a deal for maybe $10-11 million a year for a couple of years to probably 2 years a year, $5-6 million max.
You think he'll only get 5 or 6?
Dude, he's going to be suspended, coming off an ACL tear, lying to the Jets. He's not going to get 10. He's not going to get 9. He's not going to get 8. I would say
Yeah,
5-6 million.
I guess when you factor all that stuff,
You
I
know,
guess that
so
seems fair.
would you look to re-sign him? Like, would you like right now? Okay, you could sign the dotted line. Marcus May, 2-year deal, $12 million. You taking him?
I just liked and retweeted it.
Thank
Honestly,
you.
like I
Appreciate it.
haven't really been impressed with him in Salah's system so far. And after all this stuff, it just might be better for both parties to move on. So, and I'm a guy who has been a pretty big fan of Marcus May, and he far above exceeded what I thought he was going to be coming out of college. So, you know, I was one of the ones who supported him. I was definitely higher on him than you, but you know, sometimes you just got to realize, you know, this just might be better to, you know, go our separate ways. So,
Dude, not to be whatever, but Lee tweeted that 4 hours ago, and I tweeted mine like 2 minutes ago, and I already have more likes than him. He fucking sucks. I hate Darren Lee now forever. Yeah, Marcus May. I'm. The thing is, like, with that argument, is it they're so bad at safety right now. Would you take a guy who's been relatively consistent as a solid to above average player?
on a 1 year deal, if you're telling me I can get him 1 year, 5 million, yeah. 1 year, 5 million, yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah, I would do that too. Other than that, Niesman, all these guys are a bunch of Jags. They're not even Jags. They're not even just a guy. They're bad. Jag is like, okay. They're below Jags. Corners, this game, Eccles got beat a couple times. He had the one really nice play on the screen.
But I do think he's going to get more than 5, though. I think he probably get maybe like 8, maybe even 9, man.
Yeah, I'm not even touching that. I'm not even touching him if he's at 8 or 9.
I just think teams will say, you know what, man. All right, he did end up coming clean to the Jets. Robert Saleh had a heart-to-heart with him. Okay, his agent's talking shit. That's not him talking shit.
Yeah.
By and large, he's been a pretty well-character guy throughout his whole tenure. They're going to look at his age. He was a highly drafted player. He was an early second-round pick. I can't see him only getting 5. So anyway.
Yeah. Corners, Eccles, like I said, had a really nice play on a screen. Past that, I thought he played okay. Dude, Bryce Hall, he got not a good game for him. He got beat for a touchdown, and then he also had the play where he could have picked it or should have picked it. Not even should, like could have picked it, should have picked it. So I liked in that play how he got underneath of the route. And got
You're talking about that Wentz ball that just kind of died in the air.
Yeah, and it hit
May was
Bryce
right there
Hall
too.
in the bicep. Like he didn't even get close to picking it. So he's got to make plays on the ball, and we saw that the Falcons game too. Jumped the route, dropped the ball. So he has a better.
He was a ball hawk in college, man. So
been dropping some picks. He got beat for a touchdown, dropped the pick this game. Not a good game from him. Eccles, whatever. Carter got beat a little bit more than he typically does, but overall not a terrible game. But I would say Bryce Hall was a negative this game. Other than that, Mike LaFleur, I would say he's more creative. He was more creative this game. You saw again the jet sweep or the end around to Crowder, throwback to Carter on 3rd and 15. That was a conversion. You saw one of the first plays of the game or the first couple plays on offense where it was the play with Mike White. What was that? Was that it wasn't a fake toss into the slide. It was some trickery that had that receiver wide open or the tight end wide open and he underthrew it. What was that play? Do you remember what that play was exactly?
You're talking about the near interception?
The near pick, yeah.
I can't remember exactly what the concept was. I do know that
it was a trick play.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was. Do you have it? You want to pull it up? I said I thought the defender made a pretty good play. You're like, yeah, kind of.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of exactly.
The defender was all the way on the line of scrimmage, and he really had to work to get out there. And I don't think it was the.
Yeah.
I mean, did he pick it off? No, and he could have.
No, but again. Okay, so yeah, it was a toss. Okay, toss a Carter, throw back to him. Okay, dude, nice play by the defender, but you should hit this.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying.
Okay, when he.
By the way, how many times have the Patriots run the same play this year? They've run it a lot with Mac Jones.
Yeah. Mike LaFleur, positive, more empty, more trickery.
Thing is, you need
questions right now.
When you're struggling at quarterback and you have a quarterback who's not necessarily, like in 3rd and long situations and stuff, which I don't know what the down and distance was for there. I don't think it was first down. Sometimes when you have a quarterback who can't cycle through their reads on 3rd and long super quick, sometimes doing some trickery like that actually helps. And when the Jets have done those types of things in recent weeks, it was very surprising, especially in that Bengals game, how many times they did convert. So I was a fan of that. But yeah, that was a bad play over Mike.
James and Philly, kind of Jets corners do better against the run. I think they've been pretty good against the run, actually. So I would say no. Mark Smith.
Yeah, Guidry's been really good against the run. Think about him versus the Titans.
Yeah, Carter's been good. I think Hall's been
Bryce
good.
has been good, man. He's had a couple moments where, like, he really crashes in, and like a couple runs against like the Patriots that I can think of.
Eccles blew up a screen this game, so if you consider that like a extension of the run.
Yeah, they've been solid in that area.
Yeah. Let me see. I'll pull up that play of Eccles real quick, just so I'm mentioning it, but I'm not going to break it down right now. But Eccles on the bottom right here. Again, versus the run, screen, it's all the same type of stuff. Like they've all been pretty good, So I would say no, it's not really them. It's more the run game. A lot of it comes from.
Sorry, my bad. That was rude of me.
No, I'm just saying a lot of it comes from, especially when you're trapping and you're double teaming the first level. A lot of it comes from the bad running performances against them. Comes from linebackers and safeties. They've both been terrible in terms of containing the run, minus Mosley at times. But Mosley this game wasn't even good. So it's not the corners who are playing bad in the run game. It's the defensive line. It's the linebackers. It's the safeties.
And Joe doesn't need to replay that. You can just, if you're watching it, just watch it over again. You see Eccles' athleticism on that play. Look how quickly he gets by the wide receiver right there.
Yeah, and there's like the conviction just to shoot that like from outside in is really nice too. Anything else, Kyle? We'll hit the chat real quick and we'll see if there's any other topics you want to talk about. Oh, the Bills game. We can talk about the Bills game real quick. Again, I don't want to just overextend it. A couple of people have dropped. I think since the Darren Lee thing, people were like, nope, I'm out, which is okay. The true diehards are still in here for that.
And dude, some people are gonna love that, and I bet you some people were cracking up when they were watching that.
I just didn't know in live time. Assassin said that he quote tweeted me. I didn't realize he quote tweeted me 4 hours ago. I just didn't get a notification, which is weird for that. But fuck him. So. Bills game. What are your thoughts with these like breakdowns? Like I do a lot of the previous game. I don't really get into a lot into the next game. I said offense, play the way you've been playing. Simple as that. Defense, too high shell. The thing is, like, do the Jets adjust to the Bills? Like, do they contain rush? Like, I don't know what they're gonna do, but watch what the Jaguars did. Do it again. Like. What are your thoughts on this game?
I like the too high approach too, because part of the reason, like, yeah, you want to make Josh Allen nickel and dime you, but the other reason is you're not scared of the Bills run game. Why would I be scared of the Bills run game?
No.
Right. Singletary, Moss.
Yeah, I picked up Moss this week and he had like 1.4 yards or 1.4 fantasy points from me. That was fun.
Yeah. And their offensive line is not bad, but their offensive line is certainly not good.
Their guards have been playing really, really bad, apparently.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, and I'm not surprised because I can't even really think of who their guards are. I mean, I know Feliciano is one of them, but he's not even playing. He's hurt.
No, it's I have it. I have it somewhere. Google Docs. Let's see. Scroll down. Their guards are right now a combination of Darrell Williams, Ike Bodinger, and Cody Ford.
Yeah, and Cody Ford's been you can borderline bust.
Okay,
he was an early second round pick. They traded up to get him
at left guard. So
they traded up to get him. That didn't work out so well for them yet.
Sherb asked, "Do you think Hall can be a borderline QB1, or is our recent QB track record fading judgment? What do you think about that?"
You talking about Bryce Hall, the cornerback?
Yeah, Hall.
Oh, sounded like you said QB for a moment. I don't really see him being a cornerback one.
I think he's like at
solid
right now. He's proven to me so far this year he's a starting level corner, which is like, again, people will like, oh my god, like that's it. He needed to prove that still this year. He only played a couple of games last year that were good. He's proven to me that he's a starting level corner, and I think he's going to be. And I've been pretty consistent with this. I think he's a high or at least number 2, but I think this year he's edging himself more into high end number 2. I don't think he's a number 1. Just based on like you have to have a certain level of athleticism to be a number one. And I don't think he's that, unless you're an outcast or an outlier. Like people will bring up like, oh, well, Mike White is not this athletically. What about Tom Brady? Oh, well, you're talking about QB athleticism or cornerback athleticism. What about Richard Sherman? Those are the outliers. People with Bryce Hall's makeup are typically cornerback twos, and I think Bryce Hall will be a high-end cornerback number two, but I think they still need a legit number one.
Yeah, and it's always interesting how exactly one defines these things. So the gold standard right now for cornerbacks is obviously Jalen Ramsey, right? There's really no one who's probably even a close to at this point, I don't think. And Jalen Ramsey is kind of one of these guys who can kind of do it all, go anywhere. He could even play in the slot if you wanted him to, track a receiver. Now you just brought up Sherman. Sherman was always a left corner his whole career.
Just like Hall.
And one of the things that people would always say, like, okay, Sherman's got the stats, he's got the picks, all that kind of stuff. He's been on the really good defenses. But a lot of people would still say, well, I'm always going Revis because Revis would do more things. You could play Revis anywhere. Revis can play zone. Revis can play, man, and just stick on the best guy no matter where he goes. Mm-hmm. Whereas Sherman's, he's playing a lot of three. But Hall, he's specifically a left corner too. And that's also kind of something you want to factor in. Would Hall be good if you played him, if you also had to play him on the right side too? And does that, if your guy can only play one side of the field and he can only do it at a above average level, do you consider him a one? So I don't know. That's also something to think about. I don't know.
Yeah. Anything else you want to hit on, Kyle? Bills game predictions, score.
Yeah, I think
win.
The Bills. I think the Bills will win. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I don't think the Bills are going to put up 45 points or 51 points or 54 points, whatever the Patriots put up. But I also didn't think that either of those two teams would put up as much points as they did.
Yeah.
So I'll say the Bills I'll say 20 to 30 Bills.
I was pretty close in my prediction. I said 33 to 23 Bills, which is fine. Like I would take a 10-point loss to the Bills, who are you'd say right now in the AFC probably the third best team, second best team, first best team. Like I don't know how you feel about power ranks and all that stuff, but they're one of the top three teams in the AFC right now, right?
Definitely, for sure. Yeah. And a couple weeks ago, they looked like the front runners to win it all. When they clapped the Chiefs in Kansas City, man.
Yeah, I think even past minus this week, before Sunday, you would say they're probably the favorite in the AFC to go to the Super Bowl, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah.
You probably say them versus the Cardinals or the Packers, right?
I picked the Packers to win the Super. When Robbie Sabo asked us to do our staff picks, I picked the Packers to win the Super Bowl.
So okay,
and I still feel confident about that.
The Packers, yeah.
I mean, I know they lost, but Jordan lost.
I like for selfish fantasy purposes, I really wanted Odell to go to there because they don't have a two, so it would be Devontae, Odell, like you'd assume. Where with the Rams now it's Woods, Kupp, Beckham, like as a three. So I really wanted to go to the Packers. Didn't want to go to the Saints. I again, selfish reasons, it was the Packers, but it is what it is. I don't see anything on the chat.
Assassin asked Blewett, if you're on the clock right now, you taking Sewell or Chase?
It depends on what my needs are.
Now he's a drafting early guy. He's going to talk about needs.
How has Chase played the last 2 weeks, by the way, since the Jets game?
I didn't notice his last
Mr.
two
Drops.
games.
He's Mr. Drops the last 2 weeks. I'm just throwing out there.
Okay, Joe Boy.
In
your film review that I just finished about the Bengals game. Oh, well, this is not really a drop by Chase. This is just Shaq Lawson making a good play, and Chase times his jump, and he's actually he's catching the ball while he's going down.
We're about to drop in the end zone.
Okay. You said drops, plural.
He had drops this week.
I didn't watch this game. Who did they play this past week? Oh, the Browns, right?
Yeah, he had like 2 or 3 drops, I think this week. So he's hit the
Joe. He's still adjusting to a different colored football. There's no stripes in the NFL football.
True. You are right. But nonetheless, one, I don't know how Penei Sewell played. or has been playing. But with that being said, would I take a solid tackle or a good tackle over a receiver when you have offensive line problems? Yes, I still would. So I know Chase is whatever he is at this point, but I don't know how Sewell's playing. Like, do you have context on how Sewell's playing right now? I don't really know.
No,
Okay.
But it does seem like Rashawn Slater's playing pretty good based on some things I've seen.
Yeah, based on his I think like numbers and stuff, he's been like legit like Tristan Wirfs rookie level or rookie year level good. So that's a positive.
And like, dude, when he played Myles Garrett a couple weeks ago, like he definitely kind of held his own.
Nani's like the guy in the shadows always. That's the first time I've ever seen Nani comment on a video, and he said, "Who's worse, Hewitt or Lee?" So Nani had to have seen that on Twitter or been following along this something.
I would say Lee.
Who's worse? Hewitt. I would take Hewitt on for a down over Lee any day of the week. Lee was terrible. At least Hewitt was in the right spot at sometimes. Like Hewitt was largely overrated by Jets fans because he showed up on broadcast a lot. But overall, Hewitt's a better player than Darren Lee. Darren Lee is he even on a team right now or is he on a practice squad? Like where is Darren Lee right now?
I'm trying to think like what were the wow plays that Lee had in his career? Like there were a couple of plays where
he had that really the one play that I will bring up that Lee had a nice play, which I don't want to do because apparently we're in a Twitter war with Darren Lee. Is that pick versus the Lions on that? I remember it being like a drag and follow concept.
Okay, week 1.
Yeah, week 1 again with Sam Darnold's rookie year. Yeah. This year so far,
Nani has said Cashman or Lee if healthy.
Oh my God.
Honestly, that's probably Lee.
I would take Lee over Cashman. Yeah. Cashman's terrible. Cashman never missing a tackle ever. No, it's Cashman. It is Cashman. Jeff Murray says Lee. It's not. It's Cashman's really, really bad. So Darren Lee right now, he's had a 5-year career in the NFL. First 3 years with the Jets. Okay. 3 years. And then the year he left the Jets in 2019, he had 31 tackles, no sacks, no picks, no nothing. And then with the Bills after that year, the Chiefs said, no, fuck that. I'm out on that guy. Then he goes to the Bills in 2020. He has one combined tackle, not even a solo tackle, a combined tackle the entire year. And now he's out of now he's just not playing again. So he's a guy and at the same point, do I understand I'm a YouTuber? We have like 5,000 subscribers and who the fuck am I? Yes, I get that. But for Lee to think he's like such hot shit to like quote tweet a play, like one of the only like 5 good plays he's made is hilarious. So again, I'm praying that he responds and we can keep going back and forth with good and bad plays because I guarantee you I can outnumber him with bad plays. It'll happen because I have so many bad plays of him.
The longer he goes, the worse he's going to make himself look. If he does go anymore. So. Yeah.
So he's acting like going 5-11, 5-11, and 4-12 was good. I guess in the years he wasn't here. All right, Kyle. Last words for the stream. We will be back, or you'll be back. Which, by the way, early December. I don't think after the Eagles game I'm going to have a stream, and I don't think I'll have a review because I'm going to St. Thomas for 9-10 days. So you're going to miss me for a week and a half. So you might miss me on a stream or two in December. But
okay, but what are we doing because 2 weeks is Thanksgiving, right?
That is Thanksgiving on Thursday. Shit, isn't it?
So we're not going to do a stream on Thanksgiving.
That stream in 2 weeks, maybe we push it to Wednesday or we take it to Wednesday instead of Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I can make that work.
Yeah.
So the day before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, day before Thanksgiving. And then I think I'm getting married on a Thursday or no. The rehearsal don't know. It's on a Thursday. Rehearsal is on a Wednesday. So maybe that next stream I do a Tuesday. You guys will figure it out. We'll figure it all out in the future. But I appreciate everybody in the chat, all the people who are still in here. It's been a while. Nani, I appreciate you dropping in. I appreciate you guys sticking through, or some of you sticking through the Darren Lee Twitter war a little bit on the stream. And I will see you again on the next film review and the next live stream. Kyle, your last words.
Thanks for watching, and see you guys in about 13 days. Yeah. Peace. Fuck Darren Lee.